Start the stream. Affirmative. You may do it, Mr. Computer. Cool. Hi, everybody. This is Sarah, and it's Friday.
It is Friday.
It's Friday. It's totally Friday. And I'm home. I got home Wednesday evening. I spent the whole day beached on the couch yesterday, kind of doing nothing, but listening to like K-pop and dancing around the house, letting my mind decompress. But today's unpacking day and following up with emails day and getting my life back on the right track day. And I'm gonna unpack because I have a bunch of stuff that needs to get put away so that things aren't quite as cluttered, because Mark knows this, but I sort of left things in a violent state of disarray when I left. It was kind of like a rocket blasted off from a launch pad and left just fucking smears of soot and fire stains. You know them, fire stains everywhere before I left. And now I'm back, so I have to put things back where they belong. I have to unpack the stuff that's in my luggage that is hopefully not in pieces, because I haven't actually done that yet. It's still in its travel cocoon, if you will. I didn't get sick yet, like knock on stuff. I still feel pretty good, all things considered. Mark took me out for a nutritious breakfast of Bloody Marys and milk gravy Benedict, which greased my skids, and now I'm ready to dive into it. I've got 7 hours until the guys come over for sushi. We're going out for a I don't know, we do sushi Valhalla, sort of a tradition now. Anytime we go out and do some big affair out in the world and come home, there's usually a celebration that everyone made it back from the battle in one piece, which is kind of the opposite of Valhalla, I guess, but sort of like a post-epic battle celebration that involves like flesh cubes in the form of sushi and beer and pretty much everything decadent that we could possibly put in our faces, and then good conversation, because I've got a ton of stories and I'm like totally ready to tell them twice today, because I'm going to tell you guys some of them, and then I'm going to tell Matt and Tony and Mark, who's heard them about 12 times by now, the same thing over again. And Mark, you get to hear it again tomorrow because we're going out to dinner with my parents.
Fuck.
So Mark's heard all these stories like numerous times. Poor guy. And Mark's here, by the way.
That's what the alcohol's for.
Yeah? Say hi, Mark.
Hi, Mark.
Yeah. Is anyone in the
There's like nobody even knows.
Hang on, I gotta figure this out. Because if I'm talking to myself, I'm gonna feel really weird.
Guess what I'm doing today?
Dancing.
I'm putting Raspberry Pi on a Raspberry Pi. Or Raspbian on a pie. I've done that in a couple years.
Okay. Cool, I tried to use the new... Man, that's annoying. Here, did I save the description? I totally did. Unpacking from my Epic ARS Adventure. There we go. I tried to use the new streaming thing. What the hell would you even call that? The YouTube, I don't know, there's Studio and Studio Classic, or the Classic thing. I tried to use the new one, and I typed in all the information, and apparently it's not hooked up to my OBS, and now it's like, it didn't do anything, so none of the information updated. So I'm doing that now in the middle of my stream. Gosh, that's annoying. I apologize. Oh cool, there's people in the chat. Hang on. Pop out chat. There's the chat with the people in the chat, chat. Okay, so at least the stream's going. Okay, I'm gonna put that away. All right, cool. Hi, James. Hi, Ian. Hi, Micus. Hi Micus, hi Ian, hi James. Cool. I'm totally hugging you guys. Hug. This is my arms wide open in like hug format. I survived! Mark! Mark.
Wait.
I'm alive.
Oh,
Excuse me.
you are alive. Look at you. You're a raptor.
What happened on this trip? I exhibited Noodle. I exhibited Shiban for the first time in a formal capacity on mannequins, and wearing a lot of the devices, one of which I wore for a whopping 12 hours straight, which I now know for a fact is not the way to do it. They're not built for longevity or wearing for long periods of time. And I think that's okay. I just got caught up in one for a hell of a lot longer than I was expecting. Ah. Okay, Mark, I need you to help me carry that suitcase in here.
Oh, now?
I'm gonna put it on that chair.
Alright.
Okay. Let me make sure there's no,
On the chair. Is it gonna fit on the chair without falling off?
Yes.
Alright.
Because that's how I did it before. And I don't have any things. Okay. I think I moved all my other things away. Here. Bench view? That's definitely the bench view. Cool. Cool! This year was fun because I think I had 4 different currencies in my wallet. So I had Czech koruna, Euro, yen, and US dollars in one change purse. And it was super fun when I bought my coffee in the morning. Do you need me to help you? Yes, you do. 1 second. Here, I'll grab one and you grab the other. Oh man.
Lift up and over.
Ah!
You can do this.
Ah! Okay, you have to go that way. And then over. Whoa!
This is gonna want to fall off, so just be careful.
Okay.
Alright, have fun.
Cool.
Take this.
Yeah?
You're just gonna destroy my laptop.
Okay. I'm back. Thank you. Thank you for congratulating me on surviving. That was it was a very intense trip. I've been saying that since I got back, but it was like that was some crazy non-stop, very rewarding, very stressful, very fun stuff that went on. It's gonna take some recovering from just to not, I don't know. It's like riding a roller coaster, right? Like when you're ratcheting up that first hill, you're scared out of your mind, but then like by the time the ride's over, you immediately want to get right back on. It's that sort of experience. So that's how ours feels every year. But this year particularly was incredibly fun and challenging because I went alone. Mark stayed behind, and I got to experience all the things by myself, which was great, but I also had to do all the things by myself, which was hard. So
you did it though.
But I did it, and I'm alive. But I'm gonna unpack and I'm gonna tell some stories because I have a million of them, and I'm just gonna kind of wick some of this excitement off of myself while I do it. Yeah. How is everybody? Before I get into the unwrapping and hopefully recovery of my non-broken Shiban equipment, how is everybody? How was their week in the past week that I've been away? I'll give you a second to respond since, I mean, I know there's a delay or something. Like, and I'll look at the chat. Art is pain. It did start good conversations. Yes, I did have a lot of good conversations with people. I didn't get to talk to people outside my booth as much as I wanted to. My exhibit space. because I was running around doing other things, which is fine. It's just, if there were people who were interested in learning more about the project, I wasn't there to speak for it as much as I would have liked, but that's just kind of how it went. Oh, I don't know, Micus. I'm gonna just kind of talk while I do this. I'm not entirely sure. I have nothing very formally planned. I was just going to kind of discuss what happened to me as prompted by the things that I pull out of my luggage, and maybe supplement them with video stuff from somewhere. Not videos, pictures. I have pictures that I can probably pull up to give visual aid of the things that I did, and what I went to go see. It was a crazy trip. They pulled out all the stops this year because it was their 40th anniversary, I guess. So everything was bigger, more amazing. There's a lot more. It seemed like there's a lot more money put into exploring new venues and doing new types of events. So there was a lot more to do. Not that there wasn't a lot of things to do before, but there's probably twice as many events going on this year, which was exciting. It was a good time. Oh no, I've been watching way too much YouTube. Aw, hi Kia. Hey everybody. Didn't tell me. Ah. If it's late and you guys need to eat or rest, by all means go eat or rest. I'm just doing what a good raptor does. Some 3D printer this house. Alright. Without further ado, it's been 10 minutes. I'm gonna get onto the thing that I need to get done. I don't know how long it's going to take me or how long I'm going to stick around talking while I do, but for at least a little while I'm gonna jump back on my wagon and stream. Drink my ladder. Mark, how do you think everything fared?
Good.
You think it's in one piece?
Yeah, I can carry
I
fine.
think it's okay. Okay. Alright, let's open the bag. Noodle is not here because Noodle went on to other locations without me. So I did get to see him. I think the very first thing I did once I got to the venue. Well, here, let's start by doing that. My trip started with my flight being canceled. Here. Bam. Okay. We got to the airport, Mark dropped me off. He went with me to the counter to check my bag. And the very first thing we found out was that my direct flight from LA to Vienna was canceled, and I got rebooked on a multi-legged trip that took me from Vegas to Chicago to Brussels to Vienna, and then from Vienna I would catch a train to Linz. So I would end up getting there at the same time. I just had like an extra transfer thrown in there, which was, it was whatever. But for like the brief period of time that I didn't know what was going on, I was kind of freaking out because I screwed up. I was supposed to schedule or tell you, like I tell them when I want to come in, like when would work for me, and then they book my trip based on what information I give them. And I accidentally didn't allow myself the extra day in between arriving and setting up to kind of decompress. So I left Wednesday, arrived Thursday, or no, I left Tuesday, arrived Wednesday, had to set up Wednesday night so that I had everything prepared by the opening on Thursday morning. So there wasn't really a huge window for me to arrive any later than I did. I got into town around 4. I checked into my room. I went down to Post City at about 6:30 after I picked up some sundries from a grocery store, and then I went down there, and the first thing I did was visit Noodle, who was already set up, and he was hanging out with his babysitter, Laura, who was my other project manager. I gave him a hug, and then I went over to my mannequins, which were naked and waiting for me to put things on their bodies, and I spent about 3 hours getting that exhibit space set up, which went by pretty quickly. That wasn't too big of a hassle. I didn't have a whole lot of things to reassemble. And then I was pretty much good. Like, there wasn't a lot of fuss after that in regard to my exhibit space. And Noodle is definitely doing a world conquest tour. He's off conquering without mommy. He's a big baby now. He doesn't need the support of his ma'am. And I actually sat with him one night and drank a beer on the floor. Wish somebody would have gotten a picture of that. I was like, I need the comfort of my child. Noodle on an adventure. Yes. I bumped into a couple people who were familiar with my YouTube channel, which is really cool. I wasn't expecting that. It's always weird to go to another part of the world and then meet people who are like, I'm familiar with your content. It's like, cool. I don't know, so I got there and I set up all the Shiban things, and luckily nothing was broken when I was taking everything out of my suitcase. It was all just sort of fine. So I'm hoping that that's going to be the case now while I take it out again. I, of course, had to pack everything up on my way out of town, and I was very much hoping that, everything would go back in and feel about the same as it did the first time I packed it. Weirdly enough, like, when I closed my suitcase, it definitely felt like there was more shit in it, and it was fatter and heavier than it was before, but that's impossible because I didn't add anything to it. It was literally, like, the exact same things. The combination was probably slightly different, so I don't know. In any case, I'm gonna yank it out, I'm gonna talk. Oh, that's not the right thing. This is the right thing. But yeah. Should I bring my laptop over? I guess I don't even know if the cords will reach. The microphone can come. See this wonderful mess? The original mess? So, this is currency as kind of dumped directly out of my something. Oh, my sunglasses. Where are these here? This is stuff that kind of got left here when I left to go to Linz, and it's roughly in the same position as I left it, which is bad wrapped. And then I've got random currency. I have yen. See, I always keep, like, currency from places I've been in my wallet because I have this weird superstition that if I keep it, that means that I'll have a reason or something will bring me back there in the near future. So I'm keeping the euro and the yen in my wallet just as sort of an omen, I guess. I'll be back when I've got my train card from Prague. Okay. My ticket from Big Concert Night last year, which we didn't go to. I didn't hardly hand out as many stickers as I thought I would. I got all those cool Noodle stickers, and I realize I'm yet to send them to people here, because I didn't give the addresses to Mark before I left, and I didn't have time to do it myself, so I'm gonna have to do that now. Oh man, there's jackets in there. And panties. Jackets and panties and jackets and panties. There. Tubes. I did not bring tubing with me, that would be weird. Okay. So this is all the packing material that I didn't use. So when I packed everything back up, there's actually extra, which was kind of concerning, but whatever. It's okay. These were the signs from my exhibit space. I haven't actually read them yet, but I'm assuming it's something that I wrote. so I'm not kind of super concerned about what was being communicated to people in my absence. I gotta find a place to hang one of those. I don't really have like a permanent storage space in this lab for any of the Shiban stuff, so that's probably something I'll have to work on. I do have bins. The jacket needs to be washed. Such a nice yellow. Can I wash these? Or are they just plastic and...
Look at the tag. There might be a hand wash and then hand dry.
Like, my 2 travel jackets are literally kind of plastic. They breathe terribly, which makes them perfect for cold weather, which kind of rained the entire time in Linz this year. It wasn't like rain, it was just kind of like mist, I guess. But it was enough rain that I was also wearing electronics the entire time because I was demoing the Shiban stuff, so it made an umbrella absolutely necessary because otherwise I would have been like shorting everything out for sure. Because I had the backpack on and then the electronics around my neck. So I can put these here for now. Those are panties. Panty bag can get washed. What other clothes did I put in here? Okay, towels, miscellaneous hardware, fan. What else? So let's see. So I didn't have anybody to dress me up in the suck choker and the nipple spinner do. Not that I need help getting suited up in the nipple spinner, but the suck choker, the hickey collar, the thing that doesn't really have an official name yet, but I kind of pet name it the hickey choker. I didn't have anyone to help me suit up into that, and that thing takes a lot of help because I have to plug those tubes into the syringes on my back. And I didn't have Mark with me, so I made friends with the cool guy that was in the booth or the exhibit space next to me. His name was Adam, I believe. He was part of a project that involved a robot, a humanoid-looking robot female that looked at you and drew your likeness. It was like a humanoid drawing robot that could look at you and then draw you, which is kind of a neat thing. So I talked to him and I kind of made him my unofficial technician for the duration of the... Oh no, my zip ties spilled out. No. No zip ties, no. These saved my ass, by the way. Pause from that story for a second. One of the things I did not anticipate was, and I didn't tell Mark about this yet, but you know how the augments stay on my body pretty nicely because all the straps are made out of flesh? I mean, plastic, sorry. Not flesh. Sorry, not flesh. They're made out of plastic. The plastic sticks to my flesh because there's that friction of like soft, squishy flesh that kind of holds them in place. My mannequins, of course, were not made out of flesh. That would be kind of weird. They were made out of plastic. So the plastic straps of the Shiban augments, all of them, wanted to slide right off the body of the mannequin. So there's nothing to really kind of hold them in place, which was something I hadn't really thought about a whole lot. And I was able to use zip tie origami, like foo, to kind of lace everything in place in a way that was almost invisible, so I kind of lucked out, and I didn't have to worry about anything really falling off of the mannequins once I did that, but I did go through quite a bit of zip ties just getting everything to stay. And again, I recruited my booth area, exhibition area friend to be my unofficial technician. So I asked him if he would be comfortable helping me strap into my hickey choker at least once a day, and he was a technical person. I guess he was a mechanical engineer by trade, so he had some experience hooking up Molex connectors, and he knew how to put male and female headers together and wasn't afraid of, electronics that had pin headers sticking off of them. Like, he was familiar with those things. So after giving him a very brief concept of how things needed to plug in, he was able to just sort of do it in like 2 seconds and was a pro, which was very fortunate thing, because I wasn't really sure who was gonna end up being my suck technician while I was there. So I wore the hickey choker at least once a day for a period of time and walked around and just sort of represented the project and was kind of my own spokesperson, demo person for Shiban. And I was just kind of in the wild, walking around wearing this glowing neck collar. And I had to learn the German word for hickey, because if you say hickey to people in Austria that are native German speakers, they aren't really familiar with that as a vocabulary word, I learned. Like, some people knew, but like some people would give me kind of a strange look. So I had to remember this really cool word. It was a Knutschfleck. And I'm very happy that I finally committed that to memory, because the first couple times I totally forgot and had to play this like mime charade thing with the people I was talking to, where I was like sucking on my arm and I was like, it's the mark that you leave with the sucking, and they're like, yes, Knutschfleck, and I was like, Knutschfleck. I was like, yes, that's awesome. Knutsch is kiss, and Fleck is stain, I guess, so it translates to kiss stain, which is super like blunt and abrupt for like literal translation for a thing. And then I was also teaching people that the English word for kiss stain was hickey, so it's kind of passing on the education of the hickey terminology. Here's all my straps, by the way, to people. But yeah, Knutschfleck. I was like, yes, necklace, Knutschfleck. This is what that's its function. All right. Oh man. I ended up wearing the hickey choker out one night for 12 hours straight, which was a very bad idea. In spite of the bad idea, I don't really have that terrible of marks on my body left by the device.
A couple little scabs.
I do have a couple little scabs on the back, which I think like back here, the ones that are weighed down by gravity make constant contact with my skin, even when I move my neck around. The other ones do not, so they don't tend to mess up my body quite as much. So I did have to... Oh, I taped these too. Look at me. None of these are broken, that's good. Good news. There we go. So in addition to exhibiting, I was on a couple of panels this year, which I learned that like the format of panels over there is slightly different than what I thought they were, so I was mildly ill-prepared. Or I'll just say I could have prepared differently if I had a better concept of what the expectations were. One of the panels was actually with my old-time idol, like my hero, I would even go so far as to say, who is an artist from Japan who owns, or is a co-owner of a company called Meiwa Denki. I'm not sure if anyone's familiar with what or who Meiwa Denki is. The artist is, his name is actually Nobumichi Toza. The Meiwa Denki makes these really cool musical devices that he refers to as nonsense machines. One of them is the automaton, which is this cool little, kind of almost like a saxophone-shaped musical instrument with a face that you squeeze, and when you squeeze its face, its mouth opens and closes and changes the quality of the notes being played. And then you can change the actual note that is being played on the neck by touching a pressure-sensitive strip, kind of like you would on a guitar. So, but there's a bunch of other devices that he's made that he had on exhibit as part of the permanent exhibition at the Ars Center, because they had a whole section on just music, like musical instruments and new media art. And he had a bunch of his stuff on display, which was very cool that he was included in that. But they invited me to be part of a panel with him that had to do with the future of fun. Like how humans will use fun to communicate in the future, and why it's kind of a vital part of humanity to stay in touch with and continue to use to convey complex ideas. And being on a stage with him was probably the highlight of not only the trip, but all of the trips that I've been on. That was kind of like, I'd even go so far as to say a career milestone. I was freaking out. Like, I was really super excited about that. I don't know. You can ask Mark. Mark, how was I once I found out I was on a panel with Maywa?
You were a basket case.
By excited, I mean basket case. Was I really a basket case?
Yeah.
It's totally not a basket case. Was I? Nah. Alright, what's this stuck on? Knooch fleck. Knooch fleck. No, I was excited, but I was also kind of horrified too. The opening night, I actually got to sort of hang out with the Awada's, I guess, group, but what?
It'd be like if I got to meet Rick Steves in person.
Yes.
It'd be like that.
Yes. Yes.
And I would just stare at him.
Yes.
And he'd feel really awkward and uncomfortable.
Pretty much. Like, I was on this panel with the guy, and, like, no matter who was talking on the panel, I was just sort of staring at him and trying not to, because I was just like, oh my god.
Everybody's Googling Rick Steves now. They're like, Mark's really fucking weird.
Mark. No. No, like, I was hanging out with the, one of the groups from, Tokyo that I made friends with last year while, exhibiting at the Oka Center, and they were all hanging out in their kind of staging area where all their musical instruments and stuff were, and I was catching up with one of my friends, Etsuko, who is in her full garb and costume because she had just, performed. She's a fellow artist that I exhibited next to last year. I was catching up with her, and at some point after we were talking for like 5 or 10 minutes, I turned around and Nobumichi Tozo was standing like directly behind me, and I saw him, and I immediately turned back around and panicked, but then that I shook that response off, and I was like, no, you can't be shy, you need to like introduce yourself. So I turned right back around and introduced myself to him. I've never had a stronger incentive or reason to learn Japanese before. I realize like a huge percentage of my friends now that I've made through this festival speak Japanese and a little bit of English, so I feel like I should meet them halfway so that I can actually have more quality conversation with other artists. But I really want to learn Japanese now, because I wanted to talk to the guy, and I couldn't have the conversation I wanted to have because of the language barrier, which was a bummer. I don't know if I want to put these back on now. Maybe I do. Meh. So that was a thing. It all went well. Nothing was bad. I mean, kind of. There was a big concert night, which is one of the nights that they have every year where they do a big musical event in the train tunnel, and they invite, I guess it's the Linz Symphony Orchestra performs in some capacity with the addition of new media. And I think I'm kind of bummed I don't want to be citing this yet because I don't know the names of any of the artists I'd be talking about, so I might just do a blog write-up about the thing I was just about to discuss. Because I did this like a couple years ago. I was talking about
Like,
things.
that's wrong.
No. People were like, "Who was that?" And I'm like,
No.
I have no idea. But it was the I think the artist who danced with the Kuka robot that had 4 Kuka robots attached to its end effector that was moving around the stick figure body parts. Pretty sure that her name or that entity's name was Silk Fluge. And she had on like this blue outfit, and then the Kuka robot was moving around parts of a stick figure, so it looked like a human form dancing with her, but it was just being puppeted by this giant Kuka robot that was on stage. That was kind of amazing. And then there was a Japanese artist who was doing live painting along with the symphony orchestra's performance that was pretty amazing, but I don't want to talk about that too much because I need to look up her name. But all the performances were pretty amazing. And I'm lucky that I got to go, because in the past, Mark and I have only been able to get 1 ticket, and both of us need a ticket to get in, so we just end up not attending. So we've never actually seen any of the big concert night stuff in the past, which at Ars, that's the only event that you actually need a separate ticket to get into, because the seating is limited. There's way less space in the train tunnel than there are people attending the festival. Unfortunately.
Yep, high demand.
High demand, but it was definitely really glad I got to see it this year for sure. Part of the festival was at the there's a monastery called St. Florence outside of Linz, which you could take a shuttle to, and one of the days they actually had a bunch of musical performances there that artists put on, and there's other art there as well. I know our friend Takayuki brought his robot that he built, Seer, which is pretty amazing little robot. He brought that to, I don't know the space because I couldn't find it. It was, they say it was a monastery, it was more like a palace, so it was kind of difficult to navigate and find precisely where all of the things were. Which isn't really a complaint, that's actually kind of part of the fun. You kind of wander around freely, and then you find yourself in the presence of art that you didn't necessarily plan on experiencing or encountering. So you're kind of, the feeling every year is very much like you are Alice in Wonderland, sort of going through Wonderland, having all those kind of unusual encounters. And I think that's part of it. So some things you end up seeing and some things you don't. And you find out through other people or by looking at the videos recapping the festival after the fact that there were things there that you didn't even know were there. Right, Mark?
Yes.
There always ends up being a ton of stuff that we miss in spite of our best efforts to see it all. But, yeah. Takayuki had his robot there someplace. They had the chanting monk performance. The what the hell was that called? Shibu? It was called was it Deep Requiem? I don't know. I gotta look this up. I don't want to cite it wrong, but I'll mention it briefly, and then I'll look up the name of the performance and the performer so I can cite it properly in a blog post. But they had a Buddhist monk doing chanting in their basilica. So the monastery had like a legitimate basilica as a part of it, and it was this giant Baroque style palace space that led into this like church, and in the dark the church was filled to capacity with people sitting at the benches listening to this monk do this ritual chanting along with an AI, I believe, that was creating or generating sounds in response to his chanting. and it was just booming, like thundering through the space of this basilica that we were all sitting in, and it was dark, and everyone was kind of sitting with their heads bowed in this space, and it was very kind of, I would go so far as to say creepy. It was unsettling, the sounds, but it was cool because you kind of felt enveloped in them. I don't know where those are. Which, the night that I ended up going to the hell was it? The Monastery, St. Florence, where all the art was, that was Saturday night. It was right after my panel that I was on with Nobumichi Toza. So I was finally at last able to actually relax myself. Up until that exact point in time, I was kind of, like Mark was saying, a little bit of a basket case, just because I was very self-conscious. But I ran back to my hotel room after that, changed out of my garb. I think I had the propeller pasties on that day, so I was sitting on a panel with Nobumichi wearing the propellers that were, I think they both said like marshmallow or brat or something, so it was like, yes, I have loaf nipples sitting next to my absolute idol. But I shut all that off once I got back to the room, and I changed into my neon yellow party dress, got dressed up, and I went to the monastery, and there was also a fancy, I guess, banquet-like party going on there as well for the artists, which made me feel like I was in a John Wick movie. And then we were able to... I was actually at some point in the night walking around this, the catacombs of this compound with a glass of wine, and I stumbled upon a room that had the bones of 6,000 bodies inside of it, in the catacombs, amongst stone sarcophagi and actual caskets, and I don't know, burial slots in the wall that had the entombment placards of who was kind of resting there eternally. And I was just sort of navigating this literal catacombs in the basement underneath this cathedral with a giant glass of red wine, which felt like the most wrong, cool, weird thing to do in that sort of space. But it was awesome. Like, it was definitely one of those life experiences that you talk to about on a stream while you're reassembling your plastic bra pieces. You know. You know. Normal Friday shit. I met a group there from this, I guess it's in Berkeley, there is a place called Stochastic, or a group called Stochastic, which I didn't know existed, but it's apparently a residency mansion. There was a group from Berkeley, from that place, that was attending. One of the guys was on another panel that I participated in, and I met them. I forget his last name. His first name was Aza. Here I go, like, citing things terribly again. But I had a really good conversation with him via the panel that I was on, and I found out all about the group that was there from Berkeley, which was kind of a cool thing. I also met somebody who was from my high school here in Las Vegas, which I did not think was possible statistically to actually happen. She went to the same high school as me and had the same mentor as I did. I was talking about a woman named Treat, I think, maybe 1 or 2 streams ago, how she was super influential and took us to Europe and taught us everything about art history that we came to know and love. She's the reason why I have all these art history stories in my head that make me appreciate things and stuff. She had the same teacher. So I bumped into someone who was actually attending the high school the same time I did, but was in a different graduating class, which is why we didn't know each other more familiarly. But we had a scream fest. Like, you know, they have those stereotypical moments in movies where they show 2 girls like embracing each other's arms and screaming because something happened that was shocking or unbelievable. We did that in the beginning of the festival at the gala reception, because it seemed highly unlikely that that would be possible. I'm still kind of shocked by that. But I think she mentioned she lived in Silicon Valley these days, and but was from Las Vegas, and had the same relative upbringing that I had, which was kind of a neat thing to discover. She was attending the FIS Summit, which was the reason why I went to Ars the first year I ever attended.
What does FIS stand for?
FIS stands for Future Innovators Summit, and it's a philosophical forum that consists of people that are curated from all over the world to get together in specific themed groups to talk about the future of humanity.
It's actually a FEE summit.
FEE?
Otherwise, the Future Innovators Summit.
Summit. Future Innovators Summit.
You said FIS Summit. It's
okay. It's the FIS event.
Don't you hate acronyms that then
yes.
you have to say the last word of the
twice.
acronym?
Yes, I do hate that.
And then nerds like me are like, but
it's the FEE Summit.
In a perfect world, we wouldn't say such things.
It's FIS. It's just called FIS. It's the
FEE Summit. It's a FIST Summit.
The FIST Summit.
He says the T is for taste.
It's
the Future Innovators Summit for tasting.
For tasting.
The Tasters Conference.
I went to the FIS event in Tokyo last year. The happening. It was the reason why I was in Tokyo last year. I did one in and of Tokyo about Japan and like humanity in Japan, which was super fun. But my first one was 3 years ago in Linz. And I got to hang out that night with the people who were attending this year and kind of like talk to them as, I guess, an alum, which is weird. Hear sort of the things that they were going through, what they were talking about, which was super cool. I liked that event. If it didn't take up so much of the festival time, I would want to do it every year, but it's kind of a huge responsibility because you're just sort of... It's like 8 hours a day, you just get in a room with your group and you talk about philosophy. You do philosophizing for like 4 days straight, all day. And like when you leave, your brain is like elevated. You have many LEDs in your brain. Millions of neurons are firing at the same time and you feel like you're operating on this super crazy enlightened level, but yeah, you don't get to see a whole lot of the festival. You don't get to have as many kind of random occurrence experiences because you're just sort of stuck in one place. So the Tokyo FIS occurrence was enjoyable in that there was no festival going on at the same time to kind of make you feel like you ought to be in two places at once. This was my perforation cardboard. I'm gonna check the chat real quick, just to make sure that everyone's alive. There we go. Hi everybody. I'm still here. Sarah's going la 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 la. Yes. I'm feeling tired again. That's really bad, isn't it? Shake it up and make it fist. Noodle was a hit. Every time I visited him, there was somebody like hanging out with him already. So I'd just sort of like peek over and I'd see a person engaging him and I'd just keep walking. I was like, okay, my son's busy like getting attention from somebody else. I don't need to embarrass him by stopping. Cool. Hi, Nikuman. But yeah. Man, my neck. Oh, my body hurts. At some point I'm gonna shower again too. Oh. But yeah, the party they threw at the monastery, or the Baroque Palace, otherwise called the Monastery. It was funded by Mercedes, Mercedes. So it was Pinky's Up. It felt kind of like the scene in John Wick 2 where there was some benefit or something taking place in the actual old Roman Forum. And if you've been there before, like when you see that part of the movie, you're like, they're having a rave in the old Roman Forum. That's like a historical
Remember in that movie how absurd that looks to us, and now that you've done this thing, it's like, maybe it's not so absurd.
Yes, exactly.
Europe just rents anything.
Exactly. I was like, so if you throw enough money at like these ancient...
Room full of skulls? We have that.
Exactly.
Do you want the skull room? That's $10K extra.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this event made me...
How many chanting monks do you want? Do you want 3 chanting monks? Oh, you don't have a big budget. Boy, 1 chanting monk, right at the start, and he can clear out of there. Yeah.
It was... Yes. Yes. It was like... the first time I saw John Wick, I was like, I don't know if you've seen it, the movie or not, but there's a scene where they're in the actual the old Roman Forum, which is, I think, technically, like, one of their oldest, like, preserved heritage sites, and they're having, like, this shootout down in the fucking catacombs underneath one of their buildings.
Monk shootout?
What?
Wait, shootout? Oh, in
John Wick.
I was thinking you were talking about the party. Like, there was a shootout at the party? Awesome.
No.
America.
In John Wick, I was watching the scene, and I was like, that's absurd. They'd never do that.
Don't shoot the antiquities.
But now I'm like, there's like a bunch of marauding Americans from like Silicon Valley and Berkeley, like marching around the church with a bottle of wine. So now I'm kind of starting to... Yeah, I don't think that's maybe as absurd as I thought it was. Yeah. Or they just expect adults to be adults, where in America no one trusts
Yeah, I don't think you'd have that here. I don't think you could go to like one of the, like Philadelphia, where the Declaration was signed, and expect people not to trash that place by the end of a party.
We trash things here in America.
Just beer cans.
That's the problem. Like, Americans trash things. Like, I guess people from other parts of the world don't. They actually, like, respect shit. That's
like that hitchhiking bucket bot, remember that?
Yes.
It made it all the way through Europe.
Yes.
Unattended, people moved it. And as soon as it got to New Jersey, it was parts on the street. Like, literally within hours of arriving in America.
Exactly.
It got mugged.
Because America is shit.
Yeah.
So, there's
that's
that.
Nutshell right there.
So that's, one of the nights I went out with the facilitators of the festival, and we walked around the streets of Linz with a bunch of open bottles of beer, and I think a case of beer for that matter. And I thought that was very strange, because you absolutely cannot do that anywhere in the US. So I very much enjoyed that experience, because it was kind of... I felt like I was doing something wrong and deviant the entire time, but it was just like a normal social occurrence for them. Which was fun. Like, that was a very adventuresome, enjoyable night. Walking around to the dome with passing around a bottle of whatever the hell that was. Yep. Good stuff, I tell you. Good show. What else did I do? Eek. Why are you being bad? It's like, you're not supposed to unscrew hardware with your fingers, Sarah. You're made out of flesh. There we go. And I say, no, I am not made out of flesh. I am made out of space-time. I watched all the Marvel movies on the plane, which was good. What the hell was Sunday night? Now that I'm like, my brain is blocking it out.
Can you go out with Takayuki?
That was Monday.
Did you? Okay.
Sunday was when we went marauding around. Okay, that was...
You went to bed early, maybe?
No. That was the night I was out till 4. Sunday was the 4 a.m. night.
Oh, okay.
Then Mark was worried about me.
Yeah, she didn't check in, like, since the night before for me, so... Like, she checked in when she woke up, but she didn't, like, tweet or do anything all day, and I thought she got hit by a bus or something.
No, don't say
I
that.
thought you were tied up in somebody's dungeon somewhere.
I was tied
What?
up in the Dome Dungeon.
No.
The Dome Dungeon. I was in the Stadtwerkstatt bar with the cool kids.
The thing is, you didn't even tweet a picture. Like, if he'd
I
tweeted
know.
pictures, I'd have been like, she's fine.
No,
Just you drinking in a park. I would have been like,
I didn't even look at my phone the whole night because I was just like in it. I was like in the social experience of it. But then Mark like messages my friend who's there and like gets him freaked out.
I waited until the 1 a.m. for your time before
Okay.
I started looking for you. So I
Well, you messaged him and then he like tweeted like
Yes,
to
and
everyone that he knew. I was like, shh. Because I woke up the next morning
just ping.
and I went on Twitter and like I saw his tweet and then I was like, oh,
You don't
fuck.
even have to text me.
Fuck.
If you just put something on Twitter with a beer in your hand, like,
Shit.
it's all good, honey. I worry about you.
I know.
You're far away.
I know.
It's like the birds in the trees, and they're like, and the other bird never came back to the nest, and they're like, all night.
Yeah.
It's that. You need to let the bird know that I'm over here. And when it's light again, I'll let you know. But I'm having a great time over here.
Got other people worried about me. It's like, shit.
You didn't bother to check your phone all day.
I didn't. I was enjoying myself.
Horrible birds.
I hate phones. I have this hate relationship with my phone. I went to the Dome, and there's a big art installation in there that I shouldn't be talking about because I don't know the name of... I don't even know the name of it. Like, I remember the one from the first year we went. It was called Les Enfants. Remember that? It was that big-ass tube with the projection mapping inside of it and the smoke, and it was, like, spinning around on the inside of the dome. They have this giant Gothic cathedral in the middle of Linz, because, of course, they do. They have to have a dome. But they let them put, like, giant mechanical art installations inside of it.
The church.
Which is, like... We'll
ask the nuns to leave for a couple of days. Yeah, there's, like, nuns going in and out of that place all day.
Yes.
And then there's, like, this big giant art installation.
But it was, like, moving, and I was like, aren't they afraid that's going to smack into the wall or break the stained glass windows? It was just, like, freely spinning on this pivot inside of this, like, space. This ancient space, and I was very impressed that they allowed that. So, again, another example of people being allowed to do stuff in spaces that you wouldn't expect. So I guess drinking red wine in catacombs isn't that off base, given that there's giant mechanical stuff in the dome. Right, Mark?
Yep.
Yeah, but the whole time I'm there, I'm constantly finding myself in situations where I'm asking myself, how are we allowed to do this? And that's kind of like the Ars experience. It's like one after another, like, boundaries are being crossed that I didn't even realize I thought were boundaries, and that's kind of the whole festival in a nutshell. And the reason why I love going is because, I don't know, I feel like I'm getting let out of my own social shell. I'm breaking out of my own social construct that I've created for myself as a result of living in America. If that makes any sense. There's my colors. So far so good, guys. Nothing's broke. Not baroque, but broken. Baroque. Baroque. Should I pull up some pictures? I don't know. Alright, I'm gonna check and see if I can get my, if my photos is synced. Oh, which it looks like it's not. Alright, sorry guys. If my iPhoto actually, like, synced to my computer from my phone, which it feels like it ought to, but apparently is not, I would show you guys some pictures of the stuff that I'm talking about right now. Regardless, I'm going to probably put a blog post together with pictures and everything that I just said in a written format, and then I'll link that on Twitter, because I need to do, like, a recap of the whole, like, greatness that is the festival this year. But I definitely have some really good pictures of the Baroque monastery. That was not a monastery. Did that look like a monastery to you in the pictures I sent you? Like that palatial courtyard thing?
Baroque?
Did it look like a monastery? Like if
No, it didn't. What didn't fit what I thought a monastery would be. It looked more like one of the Habsburgs' castles or something.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Like I was thinking of.
Which I probably like. If you looked it up, it's probably related to the royalty in Austria at that time, which was a very grand thing. Is that what, the 1700s?
I don't know.
Ish, something like that.
I was thinking of like a cloister.
Rick Steves talks about that a lot. He did a whole thing on the Habsburgs and Strasbourg and Vienna and that whole infrastructure that made them rich because it was a gateway for trade and stuff. Everything had to go through that region, I think, something like that.
Cloister.
Cloister. I want a cloister.
That's what I think it is, right?
Cloister.
Is that a Pokemon?
No, cloister is a thing in a church. It's like an offshoot room, or I don't know what its thing is, but it's a thing.
Mm-hmm.
It exists. It's a word.
Okay.
It's a valid word in a church.
Okay. I said it, and then I'm like, wait, is that a Pokemon?
Yeah, I think it's like an anteroom, but it could be completely wrong.
I think a cloister is like the square.
The main
like,
square.
No. Shh. It's the square where they keep the monks. It's where they live, and then the middle of the square is the courtyard where it's the communal area. But the cloisters are like the rooms that are in the
I think
square.
I've heard the term being cloistered, which is like to be put tucked away somewhere. Okay.
I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong, but
sure, that's the new definition.
Yes.
It was so.
Okay, and everyone in my chat says that Cloister is also a Pokemon. So.
No shit. What the fuck? Pokemon.
I love that I'm sitting here talking.
Is that a Pokemon?
I'm talking about like.
It's where the monks live, damn it.
Like my knowledge of architecture from like certain centuries, and it is also concurrent with Pokemon, and it's also the reason why my brain feels like a fucking mess.
Sounds like a rap term.
A lot of the time.
Cloister.
That sounds like a sex act.
Yes. Sounds like a sex act involving oysters or something.
Or a clam of some sort.
It's a clam oyster? It's a clam oyster. It's a cloister.
Can I go back to listening to K-pop? And like dancing?
Yes, you can do anything you want.
Everything is a Pokemon.
Oh, Facebook popped up a picture of me and you on the airplane 3 years ago going to Austria.
I retweeted that.
Did you? Oh, you did.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like it. Terry likes it.
Terry.
One of the former Blue Man.
Cloister. He likes it. Alright, where does this go? These were the booby nipple registration for nipples. I can't believe I wore this during my presentation with Nobumichi Toza. I can never throw these away. Nor would I want to anyway, but now I definitely can't throw them away because I wore them while giving a talk in the presence of someone I respect a very great amount. But I think like the gravity of that situation is just everyone that I know at that festival I would not know if I had not known about him and what he did. Because I think that was one of those influences that kind of gets you on a track in life, and I wouldn't have been on that track. Or, I mean, I probably would have, but not in quite the same way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, that sort of thing. I love that I never bothered to peel the, whatever sticker this is that came on this IKEA piece off. I think I'm gonna leave it here. It's a trooper, it survived. There. totally gonna switch back to K-pop and like reveling in the moment once I'm done. The rest of this should go by fast because this is the only part that kind of I had to disassemble to get to fit. Like these like booby bases were kind of stacked in my luggage and kind of stripped down to pieces, and they had to fit around everything else because there's bigger parts like the back rack of the suck choker and the other shit, the butt winch. Those things I can't really take apart, so they kind of took precedence over less critical systems like the titty booby. Genki desu ka? Mark, I'm gonna learn Japanese.
You're gonna do it.
I'm gonna fucking do it. I'm gonna do it.
I will relearn Japanese and I will help you
Shit.
achieve your task.
I'm applying for a thing it's a 3-month occurrence in Shibuya that I have to get now because but also
Just start a GoFundMe. Send Sarah to Shibuya. Whether or not they choose her.
Yes. And if they do not pick me, then I will go anyway.
Live stream eating noodles every day.
Fuck, yes. I will live stream being a horrible human being.
Just have live camera. You're like literally on camera 24 hours a day, so people can just watch you sleep.
If I get that, I will buy one of those GoPro thingies that you can live stream from, like in public,
right? And
be a nuisance, like,
oh god,
for sure.
You're gonna break Japan.
But not like that other shitbag that did it. That was a disrespectful, shitty way to do live streaming. No, I'd do like the tour of unusual shapes. I probably wouldn't stream live from the streets, but I'd definitely want to stream from like locations where I could sit and talk about what I experienced in that niche of time.
Low key about it.
Yeah, I do not want to be an obnoxious twat nuisance. My bags didn't pop. Look at that.
My bags don't pop.
My auxiliary bags did not pop.
I'm gonna pop a bag in your ass.
What? I'm gonna pop a bag in your ass, Mark. Excuse you.
Let's get started.
Yeah? It's gonna sound like this.
Ooh,
Daddy.
Sounds like a hot date night. Yeah, go girl.
No. Yes. No, yes. I have no idea. Shibuya. I need a team of
Shibuya.
3. I think that is
Shibuya.
3 including myself. And then I can do the project writing. Yeah. Where's... No. Okay, I'll be right back. The other stuff is in my carry-on. So even my carry-on bag had Shiban in it. Oh man. I have to lift this up. Lift and tuck. Lift in limbo. Oh, here's your thing that you're looking for.
Oh, thank you.
No. What?
You need to like...
Shh. Don't mock me.
You should install a cable track up there and you can just have one of each type of cable pre-installed.
Oh my god.
Patch into it. So
Sunday I went marauding around. Why did I get up early on Sunday? What was going on Sunday? I don't think anything was going on Sunday. No? There's definitely something. No, I think I just got to walk around. I think that was the day that I went and I saw the Ars building. Oh yeah, so they have a new permanent exhibition in the Ars building. Not that that means anything to anybody, because I don't think anyone saw the old permanent exhibition. But they completely gutted the building and they remodeled it, like, from the ground up. Not the ground up, but like the room, the architecture that was in the room and the way it was divided and the exhibit spaces. It was basically, there were multiple different themed exhibitions, but the one in the basement, the largest one, was all about it was kind of educational. Like, it got you acquainted with what, like, artificial intelligence is. There's this one really notable exhibit where it visualized, last year, Mark and I, we trained Noodle how to recognize my face, and we had to come up with data sets and train the machine learning algorithm using our data sets to recognize my face. But it was sort of this like spooky magic thing that happened that we didn't get to see because it was happening inside of the machine's head, the brain of the computer. There was an exhibit that actually visualized all the individual steps that it went through to train itself how to recognize a specific thing, and it visualized all of those steps as it was taking data and rejecting other data and like moving that down the chain to get to the point where it extracted what was important about that image. It was doing that in real time, and it showed all of the steps. So it was like 15 different screens, large vertically oriented monitors, showing how that process took place when a machine was learning how to recognize an object, which was really fucking cool. But like, there was a bit on facial recognition and how machines like can pick out qualities in people, and how machines even recognize faces, how that even works. Like how using senses for a machine connects them to their perception of the outside world, and how that compares to how humans do that. There's just a lot of interesting stuff that tried to get you, the human, acquainted with the other life form that is the AI, and how it perceives the world, and how that is different and similar to how we perceive the world. So that was what that exhibit was all about, and our exhibition was about. It was an exhibit of exhibitions, or an exhibition of exhibits, I'm sorry. The basement exhibition had multiple exhibits that were all about what I just said 2 seconds ago. And when you walked around, if you read all the little placards and took a moment to kind of interact with everything that they had on display, it gave you a well-rounded concept of that. It put you in the shoes of our machine offspring that we are creating right now, that is AI. And then upstairs there was the musical exhibition that had the cool Miwa Danky stuff. Had the automatones doing their mouth. Mewa Danky.
Don't say Miwa.
Mewa Denki.
Mewa.
It's Mewa Denki. I like saying Miwa Denki. Miwa Denki.
It probably means something horrible.
Miwa. Mewa. My hero. Boyo. Nonsense machines. What was I doing? Oh yeah, I was talking about the permanent exhibition. Awesome stuff. My friend is part of it this year, which is a super big honor. I'm like super proud of him. Takayuki's seer robot is up there, which is this cool, it's a bust, this tiny little bust, human-like bust that doesn't break eye contact with you. So he conceived of a way to make it so that the robot sees you, sees your eyes, can track your eyes, and it computes that into the motors of the I guess the robot. I want to say muscles, but I guess that's not really maybe it's kind of accurate. It translates where your eyes are looking to how the muscles move in the robot's face that control the eyes, and then the eyes are able to actually track your eyes. So as you kind of move your head and your gaze, it doesn't break eye contact with you. And it's really cool. It's kind of an unnerving thing, but it's probably the only robot or mechanical device that you will encounter that has a human likeness that does not seem uncanny. And that was basically his artist statement in and of itself, was how can we get out of the uncanny valley? And I think that is kind of the main hurdle to overcome, is how to replicate the human gaze, the stare. Well, I can't do this without where did I put my hardware kit? Fuck. Man. Oh, there it is. It's like right in front of me. It's like I put it there for a reason or something. I'm sitting here trying to like unscrew something with my hands. As only Sarah would do. Art. All of the flautists. And then Monday. What did I do on Monday? That was Tuesday. I went to lunch with
somebody else.
Luby, yeah.
Lunch with different people.
Oh yeah, I had yeah, you're right. Monday I had lunch with Jessica. Yeah. Who's one of my project managers from the past, and then I did the bunker. So one of the really, really sad things about this year, probably the only negative thing about the festival this year, is that it is the last time that it will be at Post City. So the festival takes place throughout Linz at like different locations. Like there's the permanent exhibition at the Ars building on the river. The Oka Center, which is the Contemporary Arts Museum in the middle of the city, houses all the people who got nominated for the pre and the pre-winners. And then the rest of the main exhibition of everything else having to do with their theme takes place in this location called Post City, which is an abandoned post office central station that's next to the train station in Linz. And it's not used for that purpose anymore, so they borrowed it from the city and converted it into basically a massive compound that is chock full of art. So you kind of walk around in the basement of this space and you stumble upon really cool things everywhere you go, which is super awesome. Every year that I've attended, the Post City has been the location where all the art is curated and kept. But this was the last year that they're able to hold it there. They're going to have to find other places to do the, the main deal in the future, which is kind of I don't know. Like, I'm all for new things, but my heart has kind of grown fond of this space as being where, I don't know, where all the good memories take place, I guess? Like, how do you feel about that, Mark?
Yeah, I mean, it had its own character. I'm curious to see if they like have something that matches that. If the city's building a new art exhibit center, and I know a few years ago before Post, they had, for 50 years or whatever, they've been doing it without it.
Yeah.
So it's not like don't have a plan.
It's just.
But Post City had a lot of potential, and it's sad that this, if the post office didn't want that anymore, that they weren't able to get it from the city or whatever that process is, that they didn't just be like, hey, convert this to the art center and add better connection to the, simpler access to the train station, and a taxi cab Uber area. And it's like, why wouldn't they have done that? There could have been like a second version of Oka Center, right? Like there could be always art happening there, or events, or a convention center, Yeah,
I'm kind of sad about that. I'm
kind of surprised that didn't get transformed into something more.
Okay, one of these is done. All right, this has made it. Mark, the new bra survived. This made it. Yes.
Oh, good.
Oh God, no. Has a cord. Your stuff has cords. Right, you over here. Yeah. Oh, that's my fortune cookie. They had a machine there that was generating name badges with fake names. And then they also had ghost cookies that had an AI that was generating fortunes, and they're in cookies. I don't think any of them were the same. And my intent was to bring a bunch home and have the guys open them today, like now that we're getting together, but they all broke. So I just opened them and took the fortunes out. And I liked one of them so much, I actually taped it to the front of my sketchbook that I write all of my life details down inside of. And I feel obligated to read it to you since I mentioned it. So hang on, let me get it. Let me limbo under this cord. Okay, so this was generated by an AI, and I don't know the name of the artist who did this because it was in the wild and there's cookies. I think people even gave me the cookies. I didn't even get them from where the source of the cookies was. I was like finding them in places and then just taking random cookies. But Jessica said that it was called Ghost Cookie. So that's the name of the art or the project. And I have my this is my life book that I write everything down in for this year. And this cookie that I opened said to me, overcome your repression of dreams and turn your inspired thoughts into achievable dreams. What does that mean, Mark?
I don't even want to know.
Overcome your repression of dreams and turn your inspired thoughts into achievable dreams.
That's the... Wait, what is this from?
That's from the Ghost Cookie.
Oh.
The AI-generated cookie.
Oh, repression of dreams. Oh, it's probably using dreams, like fake dreams or...
Yeah.
Your aspirations. So there's like definition of dream, like the
Yes.
American dream, the aspiration, and then the dream of you dreaming.
Yes.
So you aspire to aspire, but then you can actuate the actual... right?
Yes.
You're inspired to...
It makes sense to me for some reason.
Inspire and aspire. Yeah, so there's like you're converting that from a potential to a kinetic
Yes.
thing, and then the AI doesn't know context, so it's gonna use the same word that for two contexts. That's like when you do Google Translate on stuff, you get similar results like that sometimes.
It makes sense to me, even though it doesn't make sense. It doesn't sound like it makes fucking sense, but it does. Like, I opened the cookie and I was like, get out of my head, cookie. I love your face too, Vi. How are you doing? Mark says hi.
Ask Vi how hard it is to burn a cartridge, Nintendo cartridge.
How hard is it to burn a Nintendo cartridge?
Because you can just send me the code for that game that Sarah did the art for. I want to play your game.
We want to play your game, Vi. Like, we were planning on a Bovinium quest night.
We'll pay you for a cartridge.
We want to play it. We totally want to play it. Yeah. Like, everyone wants to sit in the couch and abduct, or not allow the cow to be abducted because that would be bad for the cow. Or maybe that's what the cow wants. We don't get to know what the cow wants. My dreams. I have to convert my energy to actual dreams instead of focusing on dreams. God damn it. Dream dreams. I forget what the other one said. I think I lost it already. It's somewhere. It made less sense to me. But I also have a bunch of fake name tag names. I was trying to find ones that sounded like Sarah but weren't. And I found one that spelt the name Sarah, S-E-R-E-H. Like Sarah. Sarah. And I wore that around the festival. And people actually thought that that was my my real name, which was kind of funny. They're like, you spell your name with E's? And I was like, no. But they didn't know about the fake name tags, so... Here, I have it. What was it? It's Sarah... I wore this around the festival. It was Sarah Smitherstein?
What?
Sarah. Look. Sarah. Sarah...
So, somebody... You took a badge because you what?
No, they had a giant trough of these. They're AI-generated names.
Oh, so you pick one that was
You could take a fake name.
That's hilarious.
And then wear it around the festival. So there were like a bunch of AI-generated things that were supposed to kind of, I don't know, disorient you.
Right.
I'm guessing, because it was very disorienting.
That's great.
But people were trying to find names that were close to theirs, but not
okay.
quite.
That's pretty cool.
But yeah, it was one of the mail shoots.
This is the raspberry.
Oh
Sorry.
god. One of the mail shoots. Because there's like a bunch of course, mail shoots, because you're in a old post office. Like there's like the spiral slide part, and then at the bottom there's like the trough that catches the mail that's coming down the slide. The trough was filled with fake name tags, and you could take a bunch and then just wear them. So cool people were walking around in a fake name tag of some variety. Cool people. The cool people. I'm taking my sweet ass time reassembling all this stuff as I relive the festival experience and talk to you all. So, I guess I had lunch. So I guess Sunday and Monday I spent actually seeing the festival. So Thursday, Friday, and Saturday I did not see anything because I had interviews and stuff and talks and panels and shit, which was great. But I was running around really super stressed out and then trying to make it to the fun stuff that goes on at night and enjoy that a little bit, but also get to bed so I didn't feel like crap the next day.
Right.
But then I couldn't sleep because my sleep schedule was all jacked up and it was all for naught. The first day that I was there, I actually slept through my alarm, which I've never done before because the iPhone is really annoying. You guys know, the alarms are loud and obnoxious. There's no way you could possibly miss them. But I slept through my first alarm on Thursday and woke up 10 minutes before my first interview, which was with one of their I think their head art writer person who I know. He's one of the first people I met the first year I ever went to Ars Electronica. I was supposed to meet up with him, and the guy who coordinates all the interviews was calling my phone and wanting to know where I was, and luckily my hotel was right across the street from Post City because I ran out of my bed and into the interview. So it was
Rockstar.
I was total Rockstar style, launched out of a cannon and into another cannon. And I felt so bad. 'Cause I am not that type of person. And I wasn't even up that late the night before, but that was the day I arrived after all of the travel, so I guess it makes sense. My body was like, fuck you. You will sleep, bitch. You are not some 20-something spry raptor. You're a elder raptor. The hell? Oh yeah, that's the Linz raptor. I was a Linz raptor. It's like a battle. Then I got coffee. I got my coffee. Coffee fee. They had a giant neon sign down in the bunker that said coffee fee. There's a bunch of them, but that one I was particularly kind of fond of because it was some nonsense that our actual president sputtered at some point in time, which was kind of like dysphoric. What does that word mean? I don't even really know.
Dysphoric?
Dysphoric.
Anti-euphoria.
Okay, that's...
So the opposite of euphoria.
Okay. Then that is exactly what I meant.
Removing any euphoria you had.
It was a dysphoric experience to see the word coffee in the wild in neon. Meaning. The great quest for meaning. The trip was great. There's probably a whole bunch of other shit I'm not disclosing by choice, but it was a very full, exciting experience that was one non-stop experience. It wasn't like multiple experiences, it was like they all blurred together into one continuous track. Kind of like when you listen to Dark Side of the Moon, or that wonderful mix by Caravan Palace that's 1 hour long, and there's nothing but music and beautiful transitions from songs with different types of energy. That was the trip. Fra-la-la. And I'm home, I'm safe. Mark was like at the baggage claim waiting for me to embrace my disgusting, stinky body and hug me and go to me. It was the best. It was so good. I took the first train out of Linz, which I probably didn't need to do.
You wanted to go to the train station at like 2 a.m.
2 a.m. Yes.
I'm like, you're gonna get all the bad things happening to you.
I was scared. I was
trying to talk you out of that. I'm like, do not go there now.
I was afraid of like not making the train and then getting to the airport late, and then because when I came in,
you took the next 3 trains and been perfectly
pretty much. I didn't know. No,
I know it's good to be sure, but at some point you're like, no, don't go there more than about half an hour before your train departs.
Number 2 is safe.
Because there's like weirdos in the lobby, you said.
Yes.
Just hanging out at 3 in the morning.
It was disconcerting.
Like, what the fuck?
Dysphoria.
Are they just standing there?
Yes, they were just standing there, and I was like, what the shit is this? What are you doing? There's probably drug dealers or something.
That's the thing. It's like you don't know what they're...
They're just very quietly standing there.
Who does that? Or they missed their train.
There were no trains. They
missed the train the night before, so they're like, I guess I'll just
stand here
in this lit lobby
waiting. No, it was when I came in, I had to go through customs, and I had to preemptively take pictures of everything that I brought with me like a week ago, and then they cross-referenced my pictures with what was in my bag, so which I wasn't expecting. And then they cataloged all of it and gave me paperwork that I had to have processed on my way in and out. But I was in the customs office. I was the only person in this back room.
Nobody uses this office.
Like literally, it was empty. It was me in this back room, like this interrogation room with these 2 people, and they were like yelling at each other in German in front of me, and no one would tell me why. And I was so scared because I was like, oh God, please don't charge me money. I don't have any. That's all I could think about.
Right, yeah, like this is $18,000.
I was afraid they're going to be like, okay, €200. And I'm like, I guess I live here now.
Yes.
Like, I don't have any money. It was one of those moments. And then, yeah, they just gave me this, like, packet of paperwork, and they, like, slapped me on the ass, and they're like, go have fun, kid. And I was like, get out of here. And I was like, who cares? Yep. I got peaches. The grocery store was right across the street from my hotel, so I got to go get actual peaches and continue my peach fetish. So I had like a peach every other day to kind of keep my my juiciness up. My juiciness. Juicy. Okay, so this lovely piece right here has the butt winch in it. Oh god. I can't wait to have my celebratory sushi tonight. And I'm gonna tell all these stories again to my boys. My Matt and my Tony. And be like, ah! Noodle. And I had to leave my son. I had to go say bye to Noodle on the last day. And be like, I love you, you're going on without me to another place. See, I'm doing exhibit tours too, but I don't get to go with my art like he does, which makes me bummed. I guess my stuff isn't specialized enough, otherwise I'd be coming along too. It's like if we were touring with all of the Delta robots, we'd be a requirement that we had to go wherever it went. But yeah, Noodle's a plug-and-play baby. He's like a toaster now, so anybody can intercept him anywhere in the world and just plug him into the wall, and he wakes up and he's like, no mommy required. I guess that's kind of like adulthood, in a way. Mark, if he's on tour in Australia next year and he can think and be conscious without me needing to...
Yeah, he's an adult robot.
Does that technically qualify as...
That makes him a 30-year-old robot.
Wow. What?
Because he's like in his 20s, still living at home, and then comes back.
Noodle.
Noodle's... He'll just not live here anymore. He'll have his own house.
He's... Noodle. No.
The first robot to actually own property.
Own a house.
Beep.
Beep.
He buys literally like 2 square feet.
Yeah.
And stands on it.
Yes. He has like a Toft
He's got
bow.
a little mailbox.
It's a Toft bow with a mailbox.
The mailman every day has to like come and like put
stuff in it.
Noodle stares at him.
Yes. Oh my god, I want this. Toft bow. I didn't go to IKEA in Linz. I don't know why that makes me sad. 2 years ago, me and Mark went on an epic adventure to IKEA in Linz. We took the bus there.
That was so fun.
It was like, we drank beer for breakfast, and then we went drunk shopping in Linz, IKEA, whatever. Or was that for breakfast?
It was a breakfast. We were there before they opened up.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. Okay.
The employee entrance because people were walking into it.
Oh yeah.
You're not Austrian.
Yeah, we got there an hour too early, so we went to the shopping center across the street, and we found a place that had beer, and we had coffee and beer.
That's
and then
right. We had beer before the IKEA opened.
Yes. And then we went.
Or was it before the bus? I think we got out of there about 11 a.m. and then we had them serve us beer.
Okay.
I think we went there twice, maybe. We had a snack and then we went back to have a lunch.
That sounds right. And I had like my giant bag filled with Mars shapes for Noodle's Mars carpet party.
I think it's funny that in Europe, for briefly, the American familiarity we could get for a few minutes was a thing that came from Sweden.
Oh, yeah.
It's a Swedish store.
Swedish store in Germany.
But the style is exactly set up like an American IKEA, so it was the only thing that you could like relate to.
Yes.
And feel like some level of comfort.
Yes. No, that was definitely a thing.
So, yeah.
Toft bow. I'm like, excuse me.
Yeah, I like that little
bow.
bakery in the morning had a fucking beer tap.
Yes.
Then you could get a beer.
That's what I did when I was talking to you on the phone at the airport. It was the same thing. It was a bakery, coffee shop with a hot bar, and then there was a beer tap that had 3 different types of beer. One of them was Hefeweizen, so I was just like, give me some of that.
I was watching, I'm watching the Orville show, and I think they made a reference that in Germany it's normal to have a beer in the morning.
Okay, well then I wasn't
like it's perfectly acceptable.
Crazy alcohol.
To drink a beer in the morning, so.
I wasn't the only one.
It's a German thing.
I wasn't the only one, and they didn't look at me like a weirdo.
Yeah, they're like,
Okay. That's 3.
Found by people.
Pretty much. The only time I drink beer in the morning is if I'm traveling and I just got off of a very long, like 9-hour, 10-hour, 12-hour flight. Then I will totally have beer. I also drink the entire flight regardless of time of day. Like as soon as the drink person comes on an international flight, I'm just like wine. The whole way. It's just like a non-stop slurry of wine.
You like some wine slurry?
I was drinking micheladas on the way over though. And the guy, the Brussels flight attendant who looked like Dewey from Scream was like, I was like, can I get...
He really looked like Dewey.
He looked exactly like Dewey from Scream. And it's funny because we just watched that movie and I was like, he had the mustache and the face and like the pants and the butt and everything.
That's hilarious.
That's all I remember of that character is like butt, jeans, mustache, tweaky looking facial expressions.
Awesome.
But yeah, I was like, can I get a beer? I was like, I want a Stella and a Bloody Mary mix. And he's just like,
what
the fuck? And then the people next to me were watching me pour like in this third cup, mixing the Stella with the, which actually didn't taste bad at all. It was,
you ruined the Stella.
It was Mrs. T's Bloody Mary can and then Stella.
Americans.
Yeah, pretty much. They're just like this crazy. And I was flying out of Chicago, so none of the people on that flight would even do that because it was Chicago. Because if you're flying out of like LA, people are like, oh yeah, that's a michelada. But flying out of Chicago, like even the Americans on the flight were like, they're like, what are you doing?
What are you doing?
Stop! Oh no.
Another one of those fake.
Fakies?
I get those fake calls.
Mark. The winch belt is not broke either. Look.
Good. Everything is intact.
Yay.
Alright, what am I doing here? My Raspberry Pi has come up.
Good.
As expected, no trouble found. So now I gotta figure out what I'm doing here.
No one knows what they're doing here. These wrapped up like meat. Okay, so on the way out of Vienna, they actually had me open up my carry-on bag and take everything out and unwrap it on one of those like little tables.
Right.
Mark. So like I had to unwrap this.
Aww.
Like when I was.
And the tape too.
No. I unwrapped it. I unwrapped it to this, and I was standing there, and like this woman.
And they're looking at a picture, probably.
No. This wasn't the customs. This was like this was normal ass
like,
security. Yeah, like when you go through the thing and you stand that thing.
You just go, this is art.
I did. It was great. It was a moment where she was like, "Was ist das?" And I was just like, art. And she was just like, okay. And then she just sort of like.
That was it.
Yeah.
It's art.
Well, she swabbed the shit out of it and then stuck it in one of those machines.
That's what they're trained to do. It's like, they're not... Like, you can have a million wires. If it doesn't look like it's going to explode, then they're trained to be like, it's not going to explode. Fucking get on with your day, right?
Pretty much. But it was, yeah. And then I had the box with the neck thing in it, too, and I opened that, and she's just like... Also, it's like, it's
art.
It's art. Kunst. Es ist Kunst, yeah.
Yeah, and then they're like, okay, I've seen it all.
But yeah, when she was like, please pull everything out of your carry-on, I was like, oh fuck. I was like, that's the syringe thing.
Oh.
This thing totally doesn't look
weird in the X-ray, probably.
It looks like something from the movie Saw. Like, it gives me Knutschfleck. Knutschfleck. Just what the fuck? What did you call me? What? Okay.
You touched my Knutsch.
Don't touch my Knutschfleck. You heathen. Okay. This survived. Okay. First syringe rack survived. What about the second syringe rack? Where the hell is the second syringe rack? that in a bag? Oh man. Wow.
What are you missing?
Just a giant obvious bag with a huge awkward shape inside of it. Where the fuck did it go?
Did you have it? It's gotta be stacked up somewhere.
Where did I put it? Her? Is it under? Knooch flag. Knoochka. Mine Knoochka. Shit. How the hell did I take it? Maybe it's in the other room. I'll be right back. It's not in here. Just gonna announce your gaseousness.
Farting in your dinner.
I'm gonna fart in the middle of my stream.
Fart on my stream.
Civilized gentleman.
On my frame.
Ew. Mark, do you see a bag?
Okay, what specifically are you looking for?
It's a bag with one of my back rack modules inside of it.
It was in your suitcase?
Yeah.
That's the second thing, and you've already unpacked some of this shit?
I probably dislocated it somewhere.
Alright, move forward.
I'm working on that.
Oh god.
Don't do that.
Grandpa can't stand anymore. Alright,
Okay, so
it would have been like right in the zone here.
How did you lose something already? You sure you packed it?
Oh, here it is.
Oh.
Boom! See?
Under the sun.
See how helpful I am?
See? Alright, here's the giant obvious thing I just lost.
Oh.
It's a second rack of Rios. Oh god.
Go rib shopping today. Rat.
I watched all the Marvel movies on the plane because I figured I would never watch those at home, ever. Because I don't give a shit about comics. I watched Dr. Cumberbatch. Dr. Cumberbatch. American Captain. Civil War. Oh, and Mr. Pikachu. Detective Mr. Pikachu. Mr. Pikachu. Which I liked, because when Pichu. Mr. Pichu. I watched Detective Pikachu, which I enjoyed because I played Pokemon when I was 10. I had Pokemon Blue, and my chosen Pokemon was Squirtle, back when I was young. And my life was much simpler. I didn't make apparati that express my unfulfilled sexual needs. What? What?
We all have unfulfilled sexual needs, honey.
I know. I can only fulfill mine
human.
with machines.
Yeah, I'm on the same choir as you.
It just occurred to me that, like, wow. Whoa. Never mind. Don't go there, Sarah. Don't process that thought yet. Just sit on that for another year.
What?
Nothing.
Oh.
It's a certain quality that me and everyone I know have. Nothing. Go get your coffee.
Oh, we'll talk about it later.
Yeah. Oh my god. Okay. This board's attached to this still. And all the connectors are so... Oh god. I need to have a better way of hooking this circuit board up. This literally just sort of floats on my back with everything feeding into it, but it's mounted to nothing other than the cords that are attached to it, the wire harnesses. So it just gets like wrecked. Like all of these male headers are bent in like 1,000 different positions. They look like bad teeth or a fork that had a very hard life. And I'm not going to worry about that right now, because it seems like this survived, for what it's worth. Man. Pet G, man. Those kind of got... I downloaded Caravan Palace's new CD as my travel jam, which was the perfect soundtrack for the Ars experience this year for whatever reason. One of the things I do when I travel is I download a CD and I kind of listen to it exclusively so that in the future when I hear the CD again, it reminds me of the feeling of being in that place and time. And I downloaded the Sophie Tucker album when I went to Tokyo last year, so anytime I listen to Soft Animals, it reminds me of walking around, I don't know, everywhere I went, walking around like Akihabara and buying strange little cow figurines with meat puzzle pieces, that sort of thing. Both back racks survived, by the way.
Back rack.
My back racks.
Love no back rack.
My back racks survived.
Oh, it's 1 p.m. already? Oh my god.
Is it?
Yeah. I'm not gonna get half of my stuff done today. Right, because I gotta go shopping.
Oh man. Oh.
Yes.
Where are you going?
Sam's Club.
Can you get
ribs? Yeah, what do you want? Specific items that you need.
Coconut water.
Coconut water? I'll get you a brick of coconut water.
Do they have the big ones, or do they just have the little ones?
I will check. I don't remember if they stopped carrying one size or the other. Put that on my shopping list here.
Yeah, we're getting sushi tonight. Hi, everybody. There is money in sex robots.
What?
Wait, what? Dun 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 dun. That and the incredible earworms that are Japanese store theme songs. Yes.
What the shit?
There was this one J-pop song that was playing literally everywhere I went when I was in Tokyo. I heard it on the streets. I heard it in stores. It was just sort of like, you know when you watch Blade Runner and there's like that Chinese woman that's like going Nihon Yongu, and you hear it like everywhere throughout the whole movie. There was this one female singer singing some incredibly catchy like English phrase. And I don't even remember what it was, but I heard it specifically every time I was standing in front of the capsule machines trying to pick out like what useless thing I had to have. I would like be standing there and then it would start like piping in from like someplace, and I was like, okay, and it was stuck in my head. It was like the unofficial theme song of the trip, but I unfortunately I had no way of finding out what the song was. I didn't have anyone to ask at that point in time because this was after the summit. So like my guides, they were all kind of gone at that point. Don Quixote! Yes. Don Quixote was the best experience for getting stuff. I'm totally not cute. So don't say that. I'm like...
What? I think you're cute.
Mark thinks I'm cute. Mark can... Why? Like, what?
Don't ask.
What the fuck?
You're not supposed to know why I'm certain things.
Titty booby genki desu ka?
Yeah. The titties and the boobies.
That's gonna be an interesting thing. Oh, I can't wait to hear what this sounds like. I can't imagine my voice speaking Japanese. Like, what is that even going to sound like? I know I can do it really well drunk when I'm faking it. Remember that one night I got really trashed like 3 years ago and I was like shrieking in like fake Japanese to you and Matt?
It was awful.
That was fun. Fake Japanese. That's where Titty Booby Genki Desu Ka came from. I think it was that
I think so.
That night. Because you guys were talking about anime and I was mocking you. I remember. Because I'm a good friend. Suno uto wa nan desu ka? Suno uto wa nan desu ka? Hai o genki desu?
That is, are you good? Are you feeling well?
Hai o genki desu.
Oh, what? Oh.
Hi, hey o genki desu?
Hey o genki desu. Something is good.
Shit. How do you... Okay, wait.
Something is good.
The first thing...
Heyo? I don't know what heyo. See? Broken Japanese.
How do you say, will you sleep with me and...
Somebody who's going... Somebody will provide that for you in about 5 seconds.
The first thing I taught Mark how to say in German was, will you sleep with me? Bist du
schlafen mit mir?
And it's like written on his refrigerator still.
It's the only German I know that I can say fluently in like a packet.
Yeah.
Everything else would be like, something.
I took German for 4 years, but I'm not confident enough to speak any of it when I'm in Linz, which is a real kind of unfortunate thing given like how badly I wanted to live in a Germanic country when I was younger, just so I could speak the language, and now I don't because I'm a chicken shit and I forgot most of it. But no, when I was in Tokyo, I was super happy to speak any, like, the 3 things I know how to say in Japanese, I was excited to say because they didn't look at me like I was an alien. They're probably just being nice, because everyone there's so nice. But I would say something and they would, like, reciprocate, like happy, like I said something, where if you do that and, pretty much every other time I've tried to like use another language in the country where it is used, it's gotten me like it's never been a good experience. Ever. My pitch shifts down when I speak Japanese. I feel like my octave should shift up, which makes me feel weird because I don't like hearing myself have a high-pitched voice. What's Mark doing with his pie? Mark, what are you doing with your pie?
I need to drive one of those matrix panels that Adafruit sells.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay.
So
he's driving a matrix panel.
It's for a customer job, and I can't tell you much beyond that, but they asked for me to configure a matrix panel. Oh god. Kudasai? Oh, kudasai? He's asking a question.
What's...
Kudasai. Please give me.
Kudasai. Igaris?
What?
I don't know. I don't know.
Say it again. Kudasai means please give or please provide to me.
Kudasai? Oh man, this is gonna be fun.
Please sleep with me.
Is that how you say? Bist du schlafen mit mir?
Sleep, please, with me. Is that what that?
Sleep, please, with me.
Yes.
Wie fühlst du dich? Wo fühlst du dich? I feel myself well. Ich fühle mich gut. I feel myself well. My dad's claim to fame was he could ask for a beer in 12 or something languages because he was in the Navy. That's an important life skill.
Bitte kudasai.
Ich möchte ein Bier, bitte. Noch einmal Bier, bitte. Yeah.
Bitte kudasai.
Beer?
Bitte?
Do you just add the U sound after words?
Because it's a non-Japanese word. They use it's phonetic. It's biru, beer, and so the R sound of all of the R sounds of ra, ri, ru, they choose ru, so it's biru.
Biru.
B-I-R-U. Biru.
Biru.
Bidu. Kudasai.
Kudasai?
Please bring me up here. Please. Beer, please. Bidu kudasai.
Spetkuru?
Spetkuru, yeah.
Spetkuru.
That's, well, you're adding the ru because there's no actual R there. It's just, we're being joking about that.
Spetkuru.
Spetkuru. It's Spetkuru.
Beer.
Speturuku.
You're just making shit up now, mister. I'm gonna throw you in the fake jail.
Sada.
Sada.
Her name would be Sada, S-A-R-A.
Miss Petkus.
Petukusu.
Pet?
Would be your name. Petukusu. Petukusu.
Kusu. Petkusu.
Petukusu. Because you want the k sound, so it's petukus.
Petukus.
P-E. Probably. I don't think there's a tu sound. I think it's su. T-S-U. S-T-U. T-Z-U. Ku. K-U.
Ich möchte ein Bier, bitte, ja. Biru. It's a lot. Biru.
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 B-I-R-U.
Ich möchte ein Biru.
Biru.
The internet teaches me Japanese.
Yes. Learn the Japanese through the stream.
Through the stream. And after the first one, you can say Mauipe wo kudasai. Moipe? Ipe?
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 What?
Moipe. God. This is dangerous. Moipe kudasai. Whoa, kudasai.
Okay.
Whoa.
Is that sleep with me?
No, after the first beer you can... Is that like Nahaimo?
Oh,
Nahaimo.
Mo, I think, translates to and more.
Nahaimo. There's wo. Wo ipe is like another, please.
Another, yeah.
He also once rang my mom drunk at 3 a.m. asking the way home from the pub in Cornwall. He was actually in Gibraltar. Damn.
You're not near your house.
That's impressive. I like drunk calling people. That's something that my British friends actually got me in the habit of doing before I turned 21. And now it's just like a thing that I do, but I credit them for that habit. Because anytime they took me out and I was sufficiently drunk, the first thing they did was call my mother. It's like they had her on speed dial just so I could drunk call my mom from whatever part of the world I was in. As a child. That's not how you grow up. But I did that in Tokyo when I was trashed with those two completely random strangers the last night I was there. I drunk called my mom and told them that they were holding me ransom. Put them on the phone while I went to the bathroom.
She's been taken.
That's what I do to my mom. I was in Akasaka and I met two total random dudes. That was a fun night. Don't drink with strangers. Or do. I don't know. It worked out well that night. I got lucky. Moipe, another glass. Okay, so it's like... Okay. Moipe. Komm hier ein Milch. Oh, that's Dutch. Dutch is terrifying. Sarah Petokusu. Pedo.
Pedokusu.
Petokusu. Petokusu.
Because you want hit all the consonants, and so you have to do that in these phonetics.
You at the end of a word is kinda under your breath. Have I ever worked on a film? Like on a film? Like in what capacity? Like editing? I have no idea. No, I have not worked in film or on a film. The closest thing I've done to being involved with film-like things was the show, the Mythbusters thing, which was being a meat piece in front of a camera.
For an entire episode.
Yes. So no. I'm gonna say no. Also, du kannst es gewaltig this is all the Dutch I really know. Dutch, I remember the people speaking Dutch and trying to recognize Dutch, comparing it to German when I was living in the Netherlands, and it was like not gonna happen. Like I thought, oh yeah, they're similar.
Nope.
No, they're not.
It's like the difference between English and Scottish.
Mm-hmm. Not even that. Like it was.
It's like really.
It was definitely not close enough.
Celtic and English. You're like, no.
Yeah, I was kind of.
No.
I was listening to the people that I got the Airbnb through. They were talking Dutch in front of me, and I was just like, meep, like looking at them, trying to discern like what the context of their conversation was. I felt like I was in trouble. I couldn't find the trash can. Not the trash can, but like the trash dump for my trash. So like when they came to like get the key, I had like this collection of trash that I had accumulated over my month of staying there because I never figured out where to like put it. And in my defense, it was really not obvious, so I could not have figured it out like through like osmosis. And I tried. So they came and I was just like, oh, and I've been saving my garbage for a month.
Oh my god.
And then they started talking about me in Dutch, and I was just like,
oh, my uncle, one of my uncles had a story about his Dutch language knowledge.
yeah.
And so he, there's a Dutch side to my family, and I guess his more distant, like my parents didn't pass on any Dutch to me, but on his side, they still spoke a Dutch when he grew up in New York.
Yeah.
And so he knew Dutch.
Yeah.
Just like your dad knows Polish and your grandmother like still carried some of that. So he kind of knew that. So he knew the Dutch. So he went over to Holland at some point in his life, and he was nearly like most of my family's short. He was nearly 7 feet tall.
Oh wow.
He's a fucking lumberjack, big
giant
galoot guy, right? So he's in this bar in Holland doing his thing, and he's speaking like an American, right? So these Dutch people next to him, these blokes, these dudes, start trash talking about him, right?
Yeah.
And I don't remember what he said they were doing, but they were trash talking him like this and that and the other thing, right?
Yeah.
And he just turns around and he just starts casually speaking in Dutch back to them.
Okay.
And they're like looking up at him.
Uh-huh.
And he's like, what did you just say?
Oh, that's amazing.
And they're just like, meep.
Yeah. That's amazing.
It was one of those break the table type, like,
that's...
you little fuckers, you're gonna die.
My mom did something like that in Poland once, where they, like, a bunch of people who were talking about her in front of her were speaking Polish, and they're referring to my mom and her party as, like, the Americans.
Right.
And this was, like, during, like, the communist era, when, like, Poland was still, I think, communist, or what, Russian satellite country or some shit. My mom did something similar, where they were talking shit about her, and then she walked up to them and asked them a question in, like, fluent Polish, and they, like, almost shit a brick, and my mom was like...
That's right.
Yeah. Pretty much. Although I think I freaked a couple people out at the festival this year when I, like, answered or said certain things in German pretty confidently, because they talk around me in German and assume I don't know German.
Right. And catch bits and pieces of it.
Well, when I give slightly complex answers in response in German, then people are, like, taken off guard.
Right.
Like, oh, did you understand everything I said before this? Or were you... that kind of thing. Right. And I'm thinking no, but I'm not going to say that.
Right.
No, I don't understand shit. How do you say, what's a bad thing to say in Polish? Pocaj mnie w dupie. Yeah?
What is that?
Kiss my ass.
Kiss my ass.
I love the fact that YouTube you can be famous and no one cares. YouTube? Me? I don't know. It's a weird thing. I I don't know. My circle of people that I'm familiar with or that know of me come from multiple different like strati of my life, and none of them overlap very much. And then my YouTube channel sort of loosely connects all of them together, which is a weird thing, because it feels like everyone else I know, they kind of have like one main sphere that they have influence within, and I feel like I have multiple spheres that I have less influence in, and then there's my YouTube channel that ties it all together. And I make art. And I fit in nowhere entirely. That's how I feel. Art. But yeah. I should finish unpacking.
You should do that.
That was a nice little anecdote about language, though. I enjoyed that. Mark, teach me something in Japanese so I can say it poorly.
Oh, God. I don't know if I can, like, I've forgotten so much of it. I don't know if I could, like, teach you a complete...
Anything?
Other than, like, the basics. Like, my name is, you know,
Tiribu.
Watashi wa Sarapetkus desu. In the morning you say Ohayo gozaimasu, which is good morning.
That I know.
In the evening you say Konbanwa.
You don't know how to say, like, I don't know. What's an important thing to say? You don't know how to ask for another beer? Or
no, I would just say this.
How do you...
The thing with the mo and that like was like it's on the fringe of my memory, and I've forgotten those. Those are where you start to get the subtle things of like, can I have this and also this, and like those conjunctions of things, like they're in the gray zone, and I don't remember them or how to use them. But I was like, that's where I stopped learning Japanese. So it's all a mishmash, and so I wouldn't serve you to like me to tell you something like that and have you permanently have it wrong.
Okay.
So I know the basics of hello, goodbye, thank you.
Like the thing I want to say is like, I really like your work.
You know what? The thing is, I didn't have back then is Google Translate, and so when you start to pick up a basic Japanese, then going through Google Translate and having it like say it, because you can have it pronounce it, you can start to like start a dialogue at least with yourself and have the audible part.
Yes.
You're an audible person, right? I'm a visual person. You're an audible person.
Yes.
So you hearing, like having Google Translate properly say something, you'll probably more likely to remember those things and then be able to regurgitate it later.
I like your work.
I like your work. As for your work, I appreciate it. Something like that. It's the grammar gets...
Okay.
But you can verify that by going into Google, doing a translate, and just like, does it see where the words moved? Because knowing the mapping and getting a feel for that was one of the big things for me too, was struggling with, hey, this word that I would say last in English is the first word that you'd say. It'd be at the beginning of the sentence, and so that. So keep at it, right?
Yeah.
We'll practice together, and then we'll speak Japanese together, and then we'll test it against our Japanese friends, and they can correct us.
Deal.
Yeah?
I think, yes. There was probably about a half a dozen times I wanted to say something to that effect to somebody and then could not. They had a sake party on opening night. They busted out jugs of sake because for some reason, I think like half of the Ars like cadre, I guess, is from Japan. So there's like every other conversation I have is with somebody who speaks like native Japanese. And on the opening night, they brought out these giant jugs of sake, like giant jugs of sake with like the thing with the kanji on them wrapped around the neck. And they were pouring them into those little square wooden like cup box things. And they were passing them around just like in abundance. So everybody at this party had like this really good sake that they were drinking out of boxes. And like glasses, because they ran out of boxes eventually. But like I got a glass of this sake and I was thinking to myself, like, I'm going to be super fucked. Because I was already drinking beer and I was like, this is a horrible idea. And it was like a glass that was filled with like this much sake in it. And I was like, this is a really bad idea. And it didn't give me a nasty headache or anything. So it was good stuff. It was very smooth. It was like a tasty, delicious good sake that they were just sort of like giving out. It was fancy. And then there were fans, and I was just like, it's like, well, what do I say? I don't know. What did I just learn how to say? Arigato.
Arigato means thank you.
Hajimemashite
Means for the first time.
But she'll say it every time because she's Sarah.
Yes. Just remember that means the first time you meet somebody. You wouldn't say that to Meiwa Denki now.
I know.
Or Tozu. Toza?
Toza,
sorry.
Yeah. Toza-san.
You would say, Toza-san.
Hajimemashite.
No, you wouldn't say that again. You would say, Toza-san. Konbanwa. Like, a good day, Toza-san. You would bow a little bit so that you're showing some respect, right?
Yes.
And then maybe extend your hand, and that means that I respect you. I would like to shake hands with you in my tradition.
Oh, I didn't do that. I just kind of shook his hand.
No,
I was like, my name's Sarah. Like a
when you
dork.
nod, you like nod most of your head because it's the implication you're. If you really respect them, then do the full bow, like your whole.
I didn't know what to
torso
do.
Moves forward.
Like I didn't know what to do, or in this, so I just sort of did it the way that.
If I just meet a Japanese person in the street, like I recognize they're speaking Japanese, and they need something from me, even just to get out of the way, I will bow to them just to say, "Hey, I understand you're Japanese. I can hear your language. I respect you." Right?
Okay.
It's a way to be nice to another person. And you just,
It was, yeah. I wasn't expecting to see him in that moment. It was like I literally turned around and then like he was standing there in his like outfit with a beer like behind me very casually, and I like all of the air evacuated out of my lungs. And I was like, I didn't know what to do, and I turned around because I wanted to like hide because I was like, oh my god, he's like standing behind me. Holy shit! What like what the fuck? And then I turned around and he was still there, and I just sort of introduced myself because he was standing there, and it seemed like what you would do to a person that was in the same standing drinking circle as you. And I didn't want to be really weird yet. Anyhow, okay, I'm reliving my trauma like through you guys. Sorry. Damn it. Anata no sakuin ga daisuki desu. Anata, you can also use a person's name. Sakuen, work, performance, daisuki, big like. Oh, that's okay. So that's how you say. That's how you say. I really like your work, or I really appreciate your work.
Is what?
Anata, or you can replace that with
your,
a name.
Anata means what, your or their.
Anata, you can also use a person's name. So I could say like Mark. No, sakuhin ga daisuki desu.
No means apostrophe s generally.
No. Okay.
It's the own this thing's
Anata
the next
no?
thing is the owner is owned by the person I just said.
Anata no sakuhin ga daisuki desu. Daisuki, big like. I like that. By the way, what did you use for Noodle's mom recognition? We used TensorFlow.
TensorFlow on a Mac.
On a Mac.
And the next one will be the Jet. No, not a Pi, but the Jet. One of those modules that has a TensorFlow chip built into it. The NVIDIA thing.
Noodle's recognition brain's going to Australia. And it needs to...
Yeah. I think his new brain will put a hat connector on so that it'll stack.
Mm-hmm.
I think you kind of did that on your own, but it'll be all one. And then maybe add an expansion header on the other side for adding onto the brain
modules.
With your own custom board. Mm. So you can so it'll look like a lobe when it's done. It'll be like
it'll look like a brain with like little lobes. It's like a multi-dimensional noodle lobe brain.
You might do a simpler connector, like for all your motor connectors, a board, and that plugs in so that if you want to get the brain out, you unplug one connector that goes to that then just keeps the leg connectors and the servo connectors still connected, and you're not like unplugging and fishing. You just pop the whole thing, and then the brain can come out.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So simplify. Know of all the things you've had to take them apart, like what would make this easier, and how would you do a connector board stack thing, and then do shit like that where it just makes it easier to disassemble or service or swap his brain out with something else, or
I have to make another Noodle. I think this was like the thing. This is what was different between last year and this year. Because I remember distinctively talking with like Takayuki, even, who had his one robot, and then I had like my one Noodle. And like the biggest like point of contention back then for both of us was whether or not we built multiple different iterations of the thing we made for exhibition.
Right.
For like longevity, right? And I think for him it was like a yes, and for me it was a hard no, and I've since like retracted my hard no, and now it's like, well, there's two Noodles, even though like spiritually I only really recognize one of them as Noodle. There's technically two.
Yin Noodle and Yang Noodle.
Yin, but now there's going to be a third Noodle that's in the form of old Noodle. So I'm rebuilding old Noodle. Because old Noodle only needs to see, so his body can be weak. So there's another pygmy Noodle.
The three monkeys. It's the seeing Noodle, the hearing Noodle,
and the walking Noodle.
Saying Noodle, talking Noodle.
See, hear, and walk no evil.
Taste no evil.
Taste no evil.
See no evil. See no taste. Taste no taste.
So I have to make another baby body, and then that one's going to down under.
Down under.
Okay. Being a roboticist is weird. When you have weird, like, hang-ups with, like, the spirit, the ghost that's in the shell, and then the shell being replicated. Anyhow. Back to unpacking. That was a fun language break I had there. Uh-oh. What's my favorite supplier? DigiKey, it's CPC for me. For components? Mauser.
DigiKey is in the Midwest and takes for effing ever to ship anything.
The Raspberry Pi is super slow for imaging. Like, we had to use a Mac for it, for sure. Otherwise, it would have taken, like, weeks to do each training session. And it still took days with the computer, so...
The Raspberry Pi 4 probably would do a fairly good job, but there is a Raspberry Pi-like thing from NVIDIA that's made specifically for this, and it'd probably be 1,000 times faster than all the shit we can throw at it. So that's probably going to be the module. Remember the big one the guy was going to send you and never did? There's a small version of that now.
Really?
It's the size of a Raspberry Pi.
Yeah.
How much is it? On it. It's like $50, or it's not, or $100. It's not that expensive.
It's not like thousands of dollars like that other one.
No, the big one was like 1,000. Like so they made a smaller, compact chip, and everybody, like, there's multiple companies now competing in that space. So there's like a lot of options even now to do TensorFlow level stuff. But I would trust NVIDIA because they're do imaging. Yeah, their imaging cards have been doing this for years. They already know kind of what is needed in a chip. So I would trust that platform.
Anata no sakuhin ga daisuki desu.
Does that mean art? Sakuhin?
Daisuki desu.
Just keep...
Anata no sakuhin ga daisuki desu.
So it's about breaking it down, right? So anytime you see the word no, it means it's an apostrophe S for something that's owning that.
Anata no. Mark no.
And then nata means that person or whatever, right? So...
Mark no?
Mark no.
Mark no means marks.
Marks, exactly.
Mark no sakuhin ga daisuki desu.
And des means is.
Is.
So when you peel that stuff away, you're down to a couple of words you really need to kind of get into your memory. And then at that point, you have complete sentences that you know.
I really hope I get this residency in Shibuya.
Do it.
I'm going to speak all the bad Japanese to all of the people.
And then you'll get comfortable with the bad Japanese.
I'm going to get too comfortable with the bad Japanese.
Then you'll learn to pronunciate it in a way that's not that doesn't sound like an accent to
raptor,
them.
yes.
Yes.
My friend Chris could speak really, really good Japanese when we were like 20.
That's cool.
Well, you know Chris, Chris.
Yes.
We'd go to sushi and he would hit on all the sushi chefs. Because he had a thing for like Japanese boys. And he spoke like, he could speak cool. It sounded like he was from Japan.
Right.
Like he had that
really
butteriness to it. So I would just sit
right.
next to him and he'd like order sushi and then I don't know what the hell he would say to them, but they would blush. They're like,
oh my god.
And they're like cutting fish in front of like us and I'm like, I have no idea what's going on.
Cut their fingers off.
Pretty much. Chris was a philosophy and Japanese major. Because Chris was insane. In the best possible way. Anyhow. Desuki desu. Anata no sakuhin ga desuki desu. Anata no sakuhin ga desuki desu. Alright. Unpack. God damn it. Mauser's crap in the UK. Good to know.
Oh, I'm sure.
The Mars.
For me, it's location. Like Mauser's in Texas, and that's like by UPS ground, the cheapest shipping. It's like 2 to 3 days. Whereas if I go DigiKey and they ship UPS ground, it's like 5 to 8 days because it has to be driven, and so it ends up being more expensive and more time consuming than Mauser. Yeah, I guess otherwise they're kind of equivalent. So, and then there was another one called Arrow.
Oh yeah.
And they're in Arizona, and they'll usually like you'll get it in a day and a half or a day sometimes, but they literally list everything and stock nothing. So you'll get in there and go, oh, they have the connector, and then you put it in your cart. They're like, that's back ordered for 8 weeks, and you're like, go F yourself.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's me every time yelling at distributors.
I just remember trying to get an AVR programmer on the quick.
We could, yeah. I went to Mauser in Europe, and they literally did not stock it, and I was thought for sure they'd have, because Mauser here has like 5 or 6 of those in stock at all times, and I was like, God, how do you guys not have this thing? So
I forgot an AVR programmer the first year I went to Ars, and I had a mini meltdown on the plane. Because we couldn't find where to get one anywhere in Linz.
But guess what? Somebody in Linz had one.
They did, and then I met...
You made a new friend.
I met the people at Future Lab, and the people at Future Lab hosted the panel I was on with Meiwa Denki.
So that was a good...
So that's life.
That's how that happens. So maybe leave something at home every time.
Maybe forget some critical part of your system every time you do something.
Meet other people by being a pain in the ass.
Meet other people by being a neurotic, crazy fucker. All right.
Yes.
Okay. I'm almost done. And then I will actually technically be done unpacking because I only brought like 2 pieces of clothes with me, so that part's already like... I brought like no clothes on this trip. I did bring my yellow party dress, though. I got to wear it to the Baroque Monastery.
Baroque.
Suki
Right.
deska.
I'm
Anata
gonna go
no...
get food for the family.
Fuck. What was that? Anata no... God damn it. Anata no sakuhin ga desuki desu.
Oh god. That's the hard one. You'll get it.
Anata no...
Put that on a little postcard and then tape it to things in the house.
Sakuhin ga desuki desu. Am I gonna take the German off the refrigerator after 5 years?
Yeah, you can clear that out and we'll do Japanese.
Woohoo!
So you get to reorganize the fridge. We'll get some new magnets.
Yeah.
Throw all the Jehovah's Witness stuff out.
Our collection of creepy religious pamphlets that we...
If you get enough, we can put a little thing outside so they can take them back one by one.
That would be awesome.
We just hand it back to them.
They go to give us one, and then we just hand them their propaganda.
Yes.
Back. Wait.
I just want to be able to hand them back a Church of Noodle.
Oh yeah, I have to do that. I have to make a Church of Noodle pamphlet.
Give them a noodle sticker. You get a sticker.
Fuck. What is that? I need to write that down. Anatano. I hope this is correct, otherwise I'm committing like something that isn't real to memory. Anatano. Anatano. Sakuhin ga daisuki desu. I hope that means I really like your work, because that's the one thing I find myself wanting to say to like everybody I meet at Ars, and I can't. So I just end up smiling and feeling like a useless American, which is like kind of how I feel everywhere I go in Europe, and it makes me feel really depressed. Wait, the microphone needs to come over here with me. Come on. Come on, buddy. We're almost done with this. See, the hard part right now is I have to find the boxes that the stuff lives inside of. Like its safety boxes, because all of these things have bins. Because when I'm not working on specific things, I want to keep everything kind of partitioned and in a safe, dust-free environment. The titty things go in there. The salmon, which is this, actually goes in a salmon box. This thing said all that terrifying Victorian erotica non-stop on a loop, but I wasn't there, so I think it drove the people in the exhibit space next to me absolutely batshit if they could hear it. Because it was just like the same minute long, like, up and down, she stroked the foreskin, like, voice. Over and over and over and over and over and over again all day without stopping. Granted, it wasn't terribly loud, but I mean, I'm sure like if you subconsciously hear like a broken android voice, like talking about stroking foreskin and the pleasure folds of my machine, like over and over again, you just kind of start losing sight of sanity.
Right, I love you.
Where are you going?
To the rib store.
The ribs? You're leaving me?
Yes.
But I was having so much fun.
I know. I'm gonna go get food for the family.
Honey.
You should kiss me.
Family? You mean like Matt and Tony? Are they part of the family?
Not this round of ribs. I'll do the brisket with those.
What family
hooligans.
were you talking about?
You, Noodle.
Noodle ribs?
Noodle's shell.
Noodle shell.
It's like an empty eyes and a hat.
Oh.
Whoa.
Isn't that creepy?
Noodle.
I put a party hat on Noodle's empty eyeless shell. He's like
Noodle. Here, kiss.
Yes.
Kiss.
Drive
kiss
safe.
Live on YouTube. There. All right.
Drive safe.
I love you.
Don't let anybody touch your butt.
Okay.
Okay. No butt touching.
What if they're cute?
Okay. Fine. I mean, whatever. Enjoy it. Enjoy it. They have to spread your labia a little bit when they do it, okay? Okay. Anatano. Shit. That's gonna be hard. Oh, there's my towels. My diapers. I think I took all of the shop towels in the entire lab. There's some over here. I don't know if they're clean. Like this thing I'm kind of weird about keeping clean because it's it goes on my neck. Not that I didn't sweat like crazy in this while I was walking around for 12 hours that one night. So it's kind of the clean window of whatever kind of passed. Like the red one of this is just, you know what? I'm just going to kind of leave these in here for now. These need a bin, a box to go in for storage, which I don't think they have one yet. I'm pretty sure. Like I don't actually remember. And that's another thing I need to do before I finish this stream is actually label the boxes that I'm putting all these things in. Cause I have quite a bit of stuff, Shibon stuff, to kind of catalog. And I think this is going to be like the end of the era of these versions of the Shibon things. From here on, I'm going to probably make more optimized, more comfortable versions of the backpack and anything that I would actually wear on my body. So these proof of concepts are going to get retired in the name of yielding better, more viable peripherals. Wearable devices. Ah, look, a bin. Keep this. Mine now. My precious. Okay. And not to know. Fuck. It's gonna be an interesting thing. But yeah, I have 2 weeks to write a proposal for a residency that is in Shibuya. And it requires I have at least a team of 3 people, including myself. So I'm trying to conceive of what that would involve, and I think I have to find my own way to live there for the 3-month duration that I would need to be around for the residency. So definitely something I would make happen if I got it. That would be a really good excuse to go over there and make art in a city that I really like. Yeah, I guess I can just... But Mark's totally in, of course, because why wouldn't he be? But that fit like this? No, of course not. My rib rack is maybe like that? Eesh. On the way in through customs, they had me unzip my suitcase so they could cross-reference the photos I provided with the shit in my luggage. And I forgot that I had nestled all of these systems, like, in between my panties and bras and stuff. So I opened my bag, and there's just, like, underwear on the top. And, like, tucked in between everything. And the poor customs guy just, like, had this look on his face, like, okay. Just put it away, zip it up. Like, as soon as he saw one of the heart backpacks, he's just like, yeah, whatever, like, zip it up, you're done. I was like, hee. Distraction. Okay. That's about as good as it's gonna get. Do they fit? I totally don't. No way. Man, these things are, like, very awkwardly shaped. Damn it. I mean, I guess that'll work too. Why are you hooked? No reason to overcomplicate things, Sarah. Everything else in life is already complicated. Don't add to the complication when it is not necessary. There. That's as good as anything, I guess. I need to make sure these don't get super wrinkly, so they should be folded up underneath. Kind of nice. That's probably good. Okay. Alright, so that's the suck choker apparati. And I'm going to put labels on these boxes like a good raptor. Not that I can't totally see what's in there, but you know, things are nicer when they have labels. Ew, tape. See, and after I get all this stuff put away, I have to clean the lab because it's kind of trashed right now, but I'm not going to stream that because that's boring. Not that this isn't, but I guess this is the... What else did I do? That'll do. But yeah, it looks like I'm gonna have to make another noodle. I guess the compelling part of the exhibition regarding Noodle is either the feat, which relate to his ability to interact with the world, and then his vision, which relate to his ability to discern things from the world, which is more about people interacting with him. And both exhibits are completely different and focus on different things. Wow, this thing actually made it. Why am I always really surprised when my stuff doesn't break? Damn. Okay, so the heart backpack seems to have made it back in one piece too. At least this one has. I know the yellow one, the lid that I'm unscrewing right now, did actually crack. But I don't know if it was already like that or if that happened in transit, so whatever. It's the one thing I noticed upon arrival was that that was kind of botched. Cumberbatched. But I'm gonna have to make another pygmy noodle that's capable of recognizing things for an exhibition tour next year that I really want to do. Because that'll put me in Australia, which I have never been to Australia. But I really want to go, and I really want to participate in the festival because it is more of what I love. And the more awesome people I get to meet, the better my quality of life is. As you know, that's how life works. And not to know... I forgot. I need to write them down. Okay, so that all looks good. So this survived. Yeah. This was the one that was on the dummy in the exhibit. And then the yellow one is the one I wore all over town. That one got beat up quite a bit. This one did not. It stayed pretty stationary. So happy that this is in a piece. I don't know where to put it though. Hey, Mr. Dummy. Tiberius, will you kindly... Sure, you've got a bunch of bras on you. Where do I put this? I have to go here for the time being. Okay. This thing has gone through hell. This yellow one. Like, I wore this all over the city. There's this really cool moment, though, when I was marauding around that one night that I didn't look at my phone and everyone got really, really worried about me. Because I'm a jerk, apparently. Heh. We ended up at the Dome to see the art piece that was set up in there, the installation. And we were finishing our booze that we were wandering the streets with outside the entrance to the Dome. And while I was standing there finishing off my beer, Nobumichi Toza passed me and tapped me on the shoulder and just waved because we were on the panel together the day before, so we had already met and were acquainted. But it was one of those moments where I was like, oh shit, he recognized me and said hi, which, I don't know, as far as very important influences go, when that happens, it's gave me the good feels. But yeah, this cracked right there. I mean, it's PLA, it's weak, so that's not surprising. It seems like the rest of this held up though, so it's good. Nothing else broke. So these are robust. And I do have to say they're not comfortable by any means. I'm definitely going to do a redesign of the pulse pack. It's not going to have big, janky Cat5 cable connectors. It's not going to be 3D printed. It's probably still going to be the transparent vinyl, because I like the way that this looks. But it's not going to be this heavy and this sharp, because after wearing this for a certain period of time, you just kind of want to throw it against a wall. I mean, I get kind of numb to it, but I don't know, I kind of want to start living my life where I'm not just getting numb to my physical sensations, I'm actually enjoying them in some capacity. Sort of a thing to aspire to, I guess. So I guess I'm gonna stack this one next to the other over here. So those look okay. More packing material I can throw back in the packing bag. And it looks like that's it. That's kind of amazing. See, not too bad. I got power cables, more zip ties, a ton of receipts, more underwear, and that's it. The suitcase, otherwise, is totally empty. Here. Receipts. That's it. Done. Suitcase is empty. Alright, so this little power supply goes with the neck sucker thing. This should be the power supply for... Okay, the red heart. This was the exhibit one. There's another power supply floating around somewhere for charging the battery that's makes these things mobile, but I do not remember what I did with it, which is kind of bad. I think it's in my laptop bag. Ah, yes. Yellow heart. Power supply. My oh shit kit, which I never ended up needing to open, which is good. Anytime you don't have to even look in your oh shit kit is a happy thing. Extra boards. Ah, brick charger. And then I made all these extra modules for the Noodle exhibit that people could like hand crank turn. Remember I was building all of those, like frantically trying to get them done in time? I didn't end up using those. So I just sent like the original modules with the exhibition, and those just sort of became like the point of looking at and understanding, and not any of these things that I made that are like almost working. So Tony was helping me get these like hand crank versions of the modules functioning. I lost my turn crank. Oh, hope it's in here. Okay. I never even switched that out. Wow. I still might finish these as like mechanical studies for myself, but I don't know. They never really got like perfected in time. And I feel like I definitely had enough time to hyperfixate on these and finish them. I just kind of chose not to, I guess. Which was somewhat of an executive decision on my part to not allow myself to be too much of a wreck. just like a flurry of Noodle stickers everywhere. Batteries. Nipple batteries. Okay. Okay. Another thing. I think that's it. Huh. Those all need to get put in their proper, like, stowed position, but that's, like, mostly done. So, I guess in closing, like, nothing broke, which is good. That's what you hope for after a long trip. Let's see, highlights. I got to be on a panel with probably my biggest influence as a mechanical engineer, roboticist, and just generally an artist, I suppose. I learned about him in Chicago. I learned about Ars Electronica in Chicago. It feels like in my professional life, some aspect kind of came full circle this year just because of that one thing alone, which was kind of important. Even though, like, we met, like, I didn't get to have, like, the conversation of the quality that I would have probably liked with the guy, but that being said, still super cool that it happened. I saw a lot of a really amazing artwork. There's this room down in the bunker where there was a computer generating, like an AI was generating spoken language that was really cool. I don't know the details about it, and I said I wasn't gonna cite artwork without like saying who made it, which is gonna be tricky because that's like a lot of things. I'm gonna have to do a bit of research to like remember who made everything that I saw that left an impression on me. But I do have to write that follow-up blog post that kind of talks about everything and like what I took away from it. There's this big mechanical wall with these paddles that were turning that represented chaos and like things working together and solving complex problems together through cooperation. There was this crazy thing with like 4 faces that were glitched out doing this sound thing. I don't know. There's so many different works that I want to cite, and I'm gonna have to dig around and see if I can see if one of my friends posted a video that I can reference on Twitter or something, just to kind of give everyone a sense of what I saw and what's floating around in my headspace right now, which I definitely want to do. But in any case, it was really good to see all of my friends and just touch base with all the other people who are out there in the wild making really cool artwork and just feel like I'm a part of it, to like be a part of the thing that's in motion. And I still encourage everybody to go. Like, I've been telling everyone here in the US like for years now that they really need to check it out. And it's going to be a different animal now that they're moving to a different venue, but it'll still be an awesome festival regardless. I just hope that people eventually make the time and take the effort to go and expose themselves to something different and new, because ours is awesome. But yeah, I made it home. I'm safe. What am I doing from here? It's probably a good thing to wrap this up on. From here, I think, like I said, I'm going to tuck the Shiban stuff away in its current form, and the next time I address the project, it's going to be kind of in a fresh, like V2 sort of mindset, where I'm going to be improving on what I've already done and not revisiting what is. So it'll be the same project with the same things, but just better versions of all of it. But I'm probably going to take a little bit of a break from it, since that's all I've really been focusing on again for this cycle. Noodle is going to get finished, and we're going to have to work on his vision system again to prepare him for exhibition next year. But the body that's going to be doing the walking is probably going to be my first priority again, because at the beginning of this year I was all up in my own butt going, hey, I'm going to make my kid walk this year come hell or high water, and it's like September now, and I still haven't done that because I'm a butt. So I'm gonna probably go back to that. I would like to write for a bit, and I do want to do some more fart videos about the art doings. Yeah, I think that's where I'm going next. But I think in the short run, while I have the motivation to do so, I'm going to probably edit the footage I took from Ars last year and never kind of compiled into proper videos. Because I've got a lot of it and it's pretty good. It's just, it needs to be kind of, I don't know, processed. And I want to make sure that I get that out there before my computer like runs into issues again and I end up losing things, which ended up happening actually the last time that I got my keyboard fixed at the beginning of the summer. So use it or lose it, right? So I'm going to do that. But yeah, I'm gonna get the kid walking. Let me catch up with chat. There's totally a yellow Shibon bag, but that's just it. There's the red and the yellow. What did I sell for 3.4M? Wait, I don't know what you mean. Be creative. Be more extravagant. Super rich and forget about all of us. Wait, what? Why the hell are you not a millionaire? Make a product and get busy. I sold my first product business for 3.4 million. Oh god, I don't know. I'm not a product person. That's probably it. I know plenty of people who are trying to make businesses that they can sell for millions of dollars so that they can retire, and they haven't done it yet, but they're very neurotic for other reasons. I don't know. I'm kind of like the counter argument to why you should be doing that, if anything, so I have to find my own way. I got interviewed this weekend, and one of the interview questions was where I saw myself as an artist in 5 years, and I had no idea what to say, other than I hope I'm making money by then. And they're like, are you in it to make money? And I was like, no, but I like eating. You know, not that I don't eat, but it's nice to kind of feel like you're valued in the world for what you do, and you're valued enough to receive like money in some capacity. And I don't even really know what that means for me. It's a weird thing. I think it's something that I talk about with a lot of other artists there, is where you kind of make your meat and potato bread, like doing like the opposite of what everybody else is doing, or so it feels sometimes. But I don't know if I had $3.4 million, I don't know what I'd do. I don't know. I don't even know if I'd want that much money. I think I just kind of want enough money to be able to make what I want and go where I want without having to jump through as many hoops as I do now when I want to do those things. That's not even really a bad thing. So maybe I don't need any more money. I don't need it, I would just like it. If that makes any sense. Anyhow. Alright, kids. Oh, you got your walking? Kia, you got your baby walking? King is a lot longer. Yes. Congratulations. Walking is hard. Well, noodle walking is hard, at least for me. How was it too? Okay. The Gundam? I didn't meet the Gundam guy. But anyhow, I think I'm caught up on chat. I'm trying to make sure that I'm on the same page with everybody. Alright. Well, thank you for hanging out with me while I did the daunting task of unpacking all of my precious art stuff that went on display. The videos will come. I just kind of wanted to get back on the horse as far as streaming went, so that in the days to come I can stream actual interesting buildy stuff, and I've already kind of gotten the talk about the festival out of my system, and I'm sure I'll remember things to talk about in the days to come. But yeah, there'll be video, and I'll definitely do a probably a write-up about my time there, like some sort of blog post or something that I can reference just to sort of officially put out there how it was, what it means to me to have been a part of that. So until then, enjoy the rest of Friday, enjoy the rest of the weekend. I don't know if I'll stream like over the weekend, because I'm gonna try and kind of get my head back into a shape, but soon I'll switch back into the work mode. So I don't know, take care, guys, and thank you for watching, and keep making awesome stuff. And Noodle says, Noodle, there's his eyeless, soulless husk with a party hat on. Noodle says goodbye to you. Take care.